is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Phins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to cry, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to cry, time to shine.
What's up, baby? Yeah, let's go.
Intuition told me this.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to my family with a PH and my Fin-laws. What is going on? How y'all doing today? Super excited to be hanging out with y'all. It is the #1 Miami fan morning show. It is Clock Blockers right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Super excited. It is Spread Kindness Friday. It's one of my favorite days of the week. It is. You know what we get to do today? We get to play baseball. No, we get to hang out, man. We get to do a whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Let me do the rundown real quick. I am your host, Stephen Daniels. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love, man. Make sure you guys do that there. It's going to be awesome. I'm an awesome follow. No, I'm serious. You should go follow me. Do it right now. Go take your phone, your Android. If you have a crapple, we're not worried about you. Okay, Team Android all day. Okay, make sure you go do it. Go follow me right now. Okay. Hey, if you also want to follow, you can follow Miami Sports Music too. Make sure you follow Miami Sports Music at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter where we are at MIA Sports Music. It's an awesome follow too. You get to hang out with the awesome Solo D. Let me tell you, he's been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. Make sure you go follow Miami Sports Music. It's good stuff. That's a good follow up there. Make sure you all hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. Doesn't cost anything. It's free to do. Helps the channel grow. So as soon as you come in through the doorway today, just hit the like button and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way, anytime Miami Sports Music goes live, you get notified. Anytime Solo D drops a new joint, you get notified. Anytime CB83 goes live, you get notified. Nando Talk, Jason Sarney, all the crew. Make sure you hit the bell notification, hit all notifications. It's a big deal. Hey, if you want to sign up and become a member today to become part of the family, make sure you all do that. Okay. No, seriously. Make sure you all do that. It's a big deal. Definitely want to make sure that y'all get in there and y'all are, making it happen, Captain. Also, hey, look, you want to help the channel grow by donating? Lots of different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. And you can also use Cash App and PayPal, which is $ MSM Podcast Network, and also PayPal, which is also MSM Podcast Network. You can use the QR codes that you just saw on your screen. They help. They go such a long way into helping the channel grow. So make sure you all do that, okay? Want to give a big shout out to our sponsor of the show, Tail Greeter. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android device. Make sure y'all do that at Tail Greeter. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Make sure y'all check it out. All right. We got a great show lined up for you today. It is Spread Kindness Friday. My man, the touchdown with Doug Smith is in the building. We're going to have a good time with him. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look players specifically. Doug does, let me tell you, Doug, #1, if you are not following Doug on social media, if you are not following his channel, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because he's got some of the best content out there. He gets in contact with some of these soon-to-be NFL superstars, and he has great one-on-one conversations with them, talks to them about their, collegiate career and what they plan on doing moving forward in their professional career. And it's really, really good. If you guys go to YouTube, type in the touchdown with Doug Smith, you are going to see some of the best content out there. Go follow him. I want to say he's like 190 people, 180 people away from 2,000, I think. Something of that nature. But he's close to 2,000, and I want to get him there. I want to help him get there, okay? So make sure y'all go follow him. It is awesome, man, okay? Want to give a big shout-out to everybody in the chat real quick before I bring on my co-host for the day, Noob, Rashad. By the way, so I'm on Twitter Spaces sometimes. I go in and I listen. I've been getting more involved with some of these Twitter Spaces. Shout out to Batman. Shout out to Lewis. Batman's from the Phinsaholic show. Lewis from the Phins tailgate. They've been doing a lot of great Twitter Spaces. And there was a really good running joke yesterday with Rashad, who's one of the great listeners of our show. And he has this phobia of feet. And we took it to the next level. And I'll explain more later on in the show. We'll get into it after we get touchdown with Doug out of here later on in the show. But let me tell you, it went sideways real quick, but it was fun. And you all in the chat this morning, I already have somebody who's in here called Rashad's Feet. It's Trucker Sean. He changed his name for the day to Rashad's Feet. Y'all trip me out. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all are the best fans in the world. It is hands down. You guys are great. Rashad's Feet said that was funny. It was funny. I like it, man. All right, let me bring in my co-host for the day on Spread Kindness Friday, my man Jason Sarney. Good morning, Jason.
Morning, Steven. What a way to start Friday with a foot fetish. Gotta love it.
So, real quick. All right, here's the Cliff Notes version. Rashad has a phobia of feet. We then talked about feet fetishes, and I was told to me, Steve, hey, you need to raise money for the channel. Make a Miami Dolphin foot thing on a foot account. And so I did, and I've already had 200 views of it. I swear to God.
It's always things like that to get the most views. It's like silly stuff.
It's stupid. I have no reason why it did. It's already got 200 views. I've been hit up. Do you have any more pictures of Dolphins feet? Like Dolphins paraphernalia?
I have no pictures of dolphin feet.
What? Are you kidding me? Does Jason also like feet? Will his feet be on your website? Noob says.
I don't hate feet, but it's not. I'm not.
Now,
I never.
Full disclosure, I did go to my wife and I said, "Hey, honey, this is what's happening. This is a dare. I don't want you to think I'm doing anything or cheating or anything like that." And she's like, "Okay, we'll see. If you make $1 million from it, it's whatever."
I'll tell you though, I'm a movie guy. One of my favorite monologues or back and forth dialogues, I guess, was in Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta talking about feet.
Yes.
And then, of course, 10 years later, we're learning about a Rex Ryan foot fetish. Can we get off feet?
So great. Shout out to Rashad. I hope you're out there because you're getting it today. Like it when my wife smacks me in the face. Touchdown with Doug Smith. That's my fetish. Oh, y'all are the best. All right. Hey, so Jason, the Miami Dolphins are how many days away are we from the NFL draft? We're close. It's real
21,
close.
22?
21, 22 days.
No, 10.
So
14, I don't even know. 14 days.
It's 14 days. Man, God, it's getting close. Okay, so there's been a lot of amazing people out there in the community that are putting out great content. And one of those people is Doug Smith, the Touchdown with Doug Smith. And it was really important that I get him on before the draft. And I'm hoping to get him on during the draft too. And we're hopefully pray to the gods that we can get him for that Friday night, content. It's going to be great. But I wanted to get him on because he does such good work with bringing in, and he knows about the players. And I wanted to talk to him about that. And then obviously get into some specifics of offensive linemen, tight end, running backs, because I think the consensus around the Dolphins community, those are the three positions the Dolphins sound like they're going to target. Does that sound right?
I really think tight end, offensive line, and linebacker are the three premiums. And I'm really curious to see what Doug has to say about the deep running back class because, I'm a component of Greer and the Dolphins kind of looking in day 3 territory for running backs. And, of course, the potential trade rumors in that area. But, yeah, those three that I really can't wait to hear what Doug has to say in no given order. tight end, linebacker, offensive line.
All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is Spread Kindness Friday. Make sure you guys hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm going to bring on the guest of the day, the Grand Marshal of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the touchdown with Doug Smith. Let's go, baby.
Man,
what's up,
thank
man?
you guys so much for having me on, man. I appreciate it. What's up, Jason? How you, Steven?
What's going on, man? Welcome. I haven't
Yes,
seen
sir.
you in a while, man. I miss you.
Been a minute, bro, man. I'm so happy, man. We chopped it up yesterday, man. We about
Yes.
to talk some NFL draft talk, and
I
we can
know.
talk fetishes too, man. You know, I like
Hey,
like when
man,
my wife
look.
smacks me in the face. I love it. It's of the pain.
We get a little crazy. It's a morning show, man. We can do whatever we want on the morning show, okay? Except there is a swear jar, okay? We're going to respect the swear jar. The swear jar is most definitely real, Doug, on
Yes.
here. Most definitely
Yes.
real. It's not a fake swear jar. It's some people try to say. First, before we get started into that,
Mhm.
just for briefly,
Yeah.
tell the people that might not know about you, about your channel, and a kind of your background.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. My show's called The Touchdown with Doug Smith. It's a podcast. It's primarily on YouTube, but I am on all streaming platforms. But check me out on YouTube. That's where I upload all my newest episodes. January through April, it's one of the best places on the entire internet for NFL draft content. I think year to date, I'm at about 64, 65 interviews, and most of them being pre-draft. We've had the N'Kobe Deans, the Rondale Moores. I had, for this year's draft, I've had like 31 people on in this year's draft, man.
That's awesome, man.
And at least I would say 23, 22 of them are going to be on teams. The other ones will probably be USFL, XFL, CFL. But you know, I get in the trenches, man. It's like going into a good music store and you're looking through old songs that you never knew about. That's kind of my channel, man, where you learn about these players, man. So and then in January through April, that's what I do. And then the rest of the year, I'm a diehard Miami Dolphins fan, but I cover the whole entire NFL. So all 32 teams, kind of tough. So I really just hit trending topics and stuff. But man, check me out. It's a lot of fun. During the regular season, I usually do 2 to 4 live shows a week for post games for the Dolphins and other teams as well too. And but yeah, if you get a chance, please hit that subscribe button, man. We're almost at 2,000, and then almost at a million.
1,081 here, as the masses can see. And again, for the people that don't know, I mean, you just have some great stuff. You've done, you know, just talk about some of the last couple of interviews that you've done here, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, bro, it's been such a blast, man. So February is crazy. I had almost no social life because, you know, I'm editing. I do everything myself. Last couple interviews, we had Jerome Carvin. That's a guard that I would love the Miami Dolphins to get their hands on. He went 785 snaps, I believe it was, without giving up a single sack. That's over a whole college football season. Not
That's
one
crazy.
sack. That was Hendon Hooker's man. So I'm friends with Jerome. I know his mom. I mean, he's just a great guy, man. Then there's Mohamed Ibrahim, who, you know, he's had some injuries, but he came back from an injury and he's an all-time leading rusher for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. All-time leading rusher. Dude is insane. Then you have guys like Sean Shivers, who smaller back, but like if Debo from Friday was a football player, that's Sean Shivers. Also South Florida legend as well too.
I like it, man.
And
you also did your own version of a mock draft, I see, for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it's got some love. I think we hit 1,000 views on it, man. Shout out to JT and Don. He's a huge Dolphins fan. Great channel. Shout out to my guys there.
JT, man, you're always welcome on the show here. You can always come on, man. Shout out to you, my guy.
JT is freaking awesome. He stays here in the Central Florida area. That's my guy. But yeah, man, I know a lot of these guys, man. Jackson Kirkland is a 6'7" offensive guard. Holy cow. He should be playing basketball, but he's diesel, man. And he could play tackle. So he could play guard and tackle, where someone like Jerome Carvin can't really play tackle, but he could play center and guard, right? So I think those are two guys we could literally potentially get in this year's draft. And stuff, but don't mean to babble. But yeah, man, I've had a lot of big names. Eric Gray, Trey Tucker from Cincinnati, Kendrick Miller, list goes on.
YouTube.com/@ the touchdown with Doug Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Go there. If we can get him to 2,000 subscribers by Monday, man, I think we can do that. That's what, 190 people away. Guys, let's try to make it happen. Let's get Doug to 2,000 people. Let's do it together as the family. as I like to say. Okay, so make sure y'all do that. Dude, you got great stuff, man, and it's going to keep on coming, and the hits keep coming. Shout out to Noob real quick with his $5 donation. He says, how does Doug feel about feet, man? How do you feel about feet, Doug?
I love feet, man. You know, I like when my wife's laying in bed. I'm sure this episode she don't get pissed off. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate you, Fin Daddy. I like to bite my wife's feet while she's sleeping, but then there's a risk again.
Whoa, you're getting out there, man. You're putting it all out there, Doug.
Putting it all out there, and then my nose is already broken, bro. I never went back to the doctor. It happened in middle school, so like you can't re-break a nose again. I don't think. Maybe I don't know. But there's that risk again, kicked in the face. Matter of fact, one time I was trying to bite my wife's toes, and she kicked me in the jaw. We were dating at the time. Dislocates my jaw. I bite my tongue. I have blood.
And you still married her.
That you know, she's awesome, man. Shout out to
shout out to
Mrs. Smith. She that's my
Mr.
Right
and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah,
that's right. Doug and I have
not love. I don't know what
Doug and I have a lot in common. We like the chocolate. That's all we. That's what we know, man. We're about it. I love you, man. I love you. My white brother from another mother. I love you, brother.
Sir. Yes, sir. Love you too, big dog.
All right, man. Let's get right into it. You're a Dolphins fan. Real quick, tell me about this past season for you. What you thought of year one with McDaniel, and just kind of your evaluation of this past year.
Yeah, I feel like great question, Steven. You know, I feel like McDaniel's necessary. There's some stuff that I don't like, but I'm more focused on the good. He united the team, which I think was awesome. I also want to say I will always love Brian Flores. I know he wasn't the best offensive coach. I will always respect that man. That man tried to fight the whole Bengals sideline for crying out loud.
He did. He definitely did. I remember that. Let's go.
That is gang. That's up there with the Miracle Miami for me, brother. I'll take it. But yeah, so you know, when he got fired, I was like, dang, man, what the heck, man? You know, he didn't surround himself with good offensive minds. Then here comes Mike McDaniel, and respect to him, he kept, even though we fired our defensive coordinator, we got Vic Fangio, so I'm really happy about that. I'm liking the moves that they're making. I wasn't crazy about last offseason when we really didn't get O-lineman other than Armstead, right?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Armstead, then we have a guy who has a history of penalty issues. It was Connor Williams, right? So, but the O-line is coming together. I like that. I dislike how we didn't use Mike Gesicki. It seemed like he didn't know how to, but also Mike Gesicki has a problem with blocking too. So I'm a little concerned that he wants to still give Jackson, the tackle, another shot. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. But I feel like if you're not Robert Hunt, if you're not Armstead, and maybe like one or two other guys, like no one should feel safe on that O-line. That should be like top priority in this year's draft, man. You know, this year is the deepest tight end draft it's been in the last decade. It's the deepest running back draft that's been in the last decade. We can capitalize. I know it's just 4 picks. Hopefully we could trade down and get a little extra pick or two. But yeah, man. Overall, like Mike McDaniel, I give him a solid 7.5 out of 10. But
really, that 7.5 to me, I'm just saying, and that seems a little low. What were your knocks on him?
Man, I know we had a lot of injuries, right? A lot of injuries, and we had that deep fall. At
the end of the year, we most definitely did.
And then it was Tua's injury. Then when he came in, like, do we blame Tua or do we blame the concussion? And maybe that's why he was also playing bad too, right? There's that question.
Correct. Then there's the theory that is the case, right?
Yeah, I want to blame it on the concussion. As a human being, I wanted Tua to retire, not because I hate Tua. Look, wearing a jersey, man. I'm a Tua supporter. I'll support anybody who's our quarterback, right? But I want him protected, man. We got to protect our quarterback, man. It's great to have Tyreek. That's awesome. You know, I was hoping we do a little more free agency with the O-line this year, if I'm being honest, man. And we didn't. So I'm assuming that in the draft, we're going to go harder on that. But as far as Mike McDaniel, I just feel like there were times where he was trying to be too much of the cool coach. Then more so like sometimes you need a foot in your butt, like what Brian Flores would do. That also works as well too in the NFL. So I'm very concerned with how he handles tight ends. I don't know what the plan is going to be for that. And I'm very concerned with how he's really addressed the O-line, you know, and I feel like he falls in love with players more so than, I don't want to say he doesn't fall in love with winning, but I hope that he's not the type of guy who's going to be, hey, I'm going to look out for your career. You're going to have a job no matter what because I like you, bro. And we got a bromance. That's cool. It's funny. It makes for great content. But man, I care about winning, man. So can he win in this league? That's why I give him a 7.5 out of 10, because he did unite the team and we made it to the playoffs, baby. It's only going to get better from here, but I still got to see a little more from him for sure.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think some of the things that I would want to, I guess, debate with you or bring up to you is, number one, he's a first-time head coach. I think you understand that, you respect that, and there's always that learning curve with the first-time head coach. We've talked about that on this channel religiously. There's just going to be some mistakes that a first-year head coach makes that you might not get in a year 3, 4, or 5 head coach. So I feel like you get the benefit of the doubt on some things in year one. The other thing is, I think as a year one head coach, you also stick to your guns on certain situations that maybe down the road as a tenured head coach, you might say, well, I did that in the past. And, I guess I see that they're not necessarily what I would want to do in this position moving forward, because I know in the past this didn't work or this did work. So it's that knowledge of how the game from a head coaching perspective works, right? Which is why I'm all for Vic Fangio coming in year 2, because I think it's going to give McDaniel such a boost moving up and moving forward, right? And then the third thing, as far as health is concerned, I don't know if I blame that on McDaniel. I think that's just, unfortunately, A, the way the cards fell. B, if I'm going to blame anybody, if I have to point the finger at anybody, is it the strength and conditioning coach? And I know that's a stretch. I get it. Some people are looking at me crazy and side eye. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think that for me, a first-time head coach making the playoffs, having your quarterback be a potential MVP candidate for over half of the year, I say 3/4 of the year, but over half of the year, and having 2 wide receivers go over 1,000 yards and break to me, there's so many positive things to that. And by the way, it wasn't his defense. He was gifted that defense from the previous regime. And so now you got a chance to correct that with Vic Fangio. And so that's kind of how I look at it. I agree with your last statement 100, saying I need to see more. And I think everybody's kind of in that boat.
I'm in the optimistic side too. You make a lot of great points, Steven. It's I need to see more, but what he's doing that Coach Brian Flores did not do, and maybe who knows, maybe Brian Flores would have done, right? Who knows? He's gonna crush it for the Vikings, by the way. I'm like super happy for him. But what he didn't do is surround himself with great minds, and dude, he got Vic freaking Fangio. Like, oh my gosh, this may potentially, I'm trying to not lose my mind here, but this may potentially be one of the best secondaries in NFL history of any team. I mean, just look at who we got. It's just a matter of staying healthy and everything like that. But dude, we're about to turn. And I'm on the optimistic side. Like next year, if I had the great year too, I have a feeling I'm going to do like a 9 or a 10. You know what I mean? So, just got to see a little more, man. And overall, I like the guy.
Jason, you want to follow up with that real quick?
I think Doug made some terrific points on the plan, the structure of what we're thinking here. Offensive line is definitely huge. We're talking probably the missing component. If we solidify the offensive line, if Tua can go in knowing that he's protected, as you mentioned, Doug, I think that makes all the difference. And I'm excited. I like the 7.5. I'll give him like a B. So we're in that kind of range. I would give him an 8. So I'm fine with that. And if he just tweaks some of those rookie coaching first-year issues, timeout usage, clock maintenance, play calling, flags on challenges, Vic Fangio is going to be a guy to help him with that. So I'm really confident that we're going to move up 1.5 points at least next year.
Finn Daddy Big Dougie B says, I'm not sure I would refer to the 2022 defense as a gift. I should have said inherited. Okay,
inherited
right. A defense. That's probably a better choice of
words.
It
was a lump of coal who put it there in terms of Boyer.
I meant for 2023. Sorry,
but I think that Flores was the mastermind. And when you go to The Apprentice, who didn't have the mentor really running the show, Boyer, I think couldn't hold the bag.
Yeah. I want to give a big shout out to Adam Sadowski, one of our listeners. He just gifted 2 memberships this morning so far to get 2 new members to the channel for a month. So shout out to you, Adam Sadowski. I really appreciate it, man. I don't see who got the memberships at the moment, I did see the thing pop up. It doesn't show through the YouTube thing yet, but I see that you gifted 2 memberships. So shout out to you. I appreciate it, man. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Jason Sarney, my co-host today on Spread Kindness Friday. And we have the guest, the touchdown with Doug Smith. All right. We've kind of gone off the rails a little bit. Let's get into some of the draft needs. What are your 3 biggest priorities for the Miami Dolphins? Let's start out with that.
Yeah, man. I would say tackle first. I would say get a right tackle, somebody who could potentially play left tackle. One thing I loved that what Coach Mike McDaniel was doing, he was bringing in guys from other practice squads. I mean, a lot of teams do that, but who they brought in was not bad. And I like where their mind was at. It was like literally every week, like, oh, we got this new guy. Oh, we got this new guy. It was great, right? But we got to up the quality of the people that we're bringing in, man. I'm hoping that with our 2nd round pick that we pick up Ohio State DeJuan Jones, man. DeJuan Jones is that guy. If there's a good chance he could go the end of round 1, there's a good chance he'd go the beginning of round 2, right? There's several teams ahead of us, like the Commanders and stuff, who are like, hey, they need to beef up their O-line and stuff like that. So I'm paying attention to that as well, too. Who can we realistically get? I love Jackson Kirkland. I'm not just saying that because I interviewed him on the show and I know him personally. He's a 6'7" guard who can play tackle. So if in the event somebody gets injured on the inside, he could take and come back on the inside.
Where do you see him getting drafted? What round?
So he's considered a top 5 guard in the 2023 NFL draft. Realistically, he will be gone by the beginning of round 3. He'll be gone.
So he possibly could be there for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
At 51, or if the Dolphins move back even a little bit. I guess my question to you is that somebody that could come in week 1?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He had I think like 2 QB rushes, and I think he gave up 1 sack like the whole year. I think it was. That guy, Jackson Kirkland, is the guy. He tested very well at the combine. That doesn't always translate to the field, by the way. But that's a guy who his intangibles, he could play all over the line, except for I don't think I'd see him at center or anything like that. But he plays guard, and he's 6'7", and he could play tackle. I think that brings extreme value to us, especially since we need, I believe it's a left guard and a right tackle. Quote me if I'm wrong. But taking and having that's something that I would like.
100% on the money. Left tackle, right, or right tackle, left guard. Excuse me.
Okay, cool. I was like, let me make sure.
We got Teron Armstead at left tackle, but I guess that could even be said. You need somebody to fill in for him, at that point,
Because he does have a history of injuries, but he's a soldier. Oh my gosh, he played like the whole
healthy. Best offensive lineman in the league at that position, or arguably, right? You have Laramie Tunzel there, and Orlando Brown Jr., but he's arguably up there with some of the best. There's no doubt about it.
For sure, absolutely. Then we get over to round 3. What do we do around 3? And again, these aren't sexy picks, but let's pay attention to the Dallas Cowboys the last 10, 12 years. And this put all their quarterback stuff aside, and I know Jerry Jones sucks as owner. But one thing I respect about that organization is they value the O-line, and they're not super sexy picks. They're not flashy picks, but you saw guys who came in. They had 2 rookie O-linemen last year come in and start day 1, and there were some bumps in the road, but at the end of the year, they looked really good, really freaking good, and they made the playoffs with that, right? So we even see Ezekiel Elliott start playing better, right? Let's bring it back to the Miami Dolphins. I feel like it's super pivotal. We can get home runs and fix our O-line with round 2 and round 3. Even if we trade back a little bit and get an additional pick, which I'll be honest with you, I hope that's what we do because it is a deep O-line draft as well. But if we do that, we could fix that. And then guess what? Deepest, if we need a run, I don't think we need a running back, but if we need another linebacker to beef up that core, if we need another tight end, guess what? It's a deep year for that, man. So I would say that's where we go with our first 2 picks.
Let me ask you. Okay, so Liam Eichenberg, right? Somebody that the Dolphins, drafted. Here's a couple of questions in this, so just bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of him, when the Dolphins drafted him? Because some of the players that you are mentioning here, the guy that you said, hey, he hasn't, he has not allowed but one sack, his 2 years or anything.
Eichenberg was one of those guys too.
Eichenberg was one of those guys too, right? And so, and I agree with you. The underwear Olympics don't always translate to what you're going to see out on a football field. So my question to you is, looking at Eichenberg, hearing some of the similar things that you're telling me with some of these guys, how, as a Dolphins fan or people listening at home, should they figure out what the differences are between the two? Because I'm hearing some of the same things that I heard with Eichenberg, and I know how Eichenberg worked out.
Yeah.
Or has not worked.
Absolutely. And I say we still go for it, man. We still get a right tackle with that second round pick. So statistically, I saw a stat, and it's probably roughly about the same a couple months ago. And whenever you draft O-line, that's the most successful turnover rate when it comes to NFL. The reason I say that, because I think, and don't quote me on this, I think it was 66% that they're going to be in the league for more than 3 years as a starter. And I think statistics are on our side here. The chances of us flopping again with another O lineman drafting that high, because even like was Austin Jackson, I was happy when we got him. I'm like, oh, it's great. I mean, he's coming off of like a kidney surgery and stuff like that, helping out his sister, I believe it was. I love that pick, but you don't know how people are going to translate into NFL. I think that's where more talent and scouting and stuff like that, comes into play. But I say we still go right tackle with our second round.
So you're saying the odds, law of averages are in our favor. That
66%
for that, even with some of the same qualities that we look for people in the past. We got to hit eventually. It's got to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, not every team is going to be bad forever. Not every team is not going to have a quarterback forever. Stuff is going to work out in due time. It's just, unfortunately, that is the NFL. And with the talent pool, some guys like, you got 2 to 3 years. If you're O lineman, you got 2 to 3 years to prove yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be a 1 year here, 1 year here. You're going to be hopping around the league, right? So I see that happen in Austin.
We've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of turnover, a revolving door from offensive line coaches to offensive line. Period. Now let me ask you. You interview a lot of college players.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever dived into it as far as the coaching is concerned, because I feel like we've had 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years, and that can't be good for the development of the people that have come through the door here. As far as Butch Barry's concerned, the guy we got from Denver, who former University of Miami coach too, what are your thoughts about him coming in and working with these young linemen that are already in the door, and potentially maybe some draft picks that we might get come a couple weeks from now when we get the draft going?
Little concerned by that pickup. Shout out to my co-host Mike Williams. He's a Broncos fan, actually, and he comes on the show from time to time. And it's my understanding that Broncos fans really hate Butch Barry. I'm optimistic. I'm an optimist at heart, but I'm also a realist as well too. I can't be a realist with somebody who hasn't been on our team yet, right? So, but while people hated him, also as well, they've had one heck of a running game. They've always had, where it'd be Philip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon when he first got there, right? This last year was filled with injuries. The O-line was absolute garbage. But, I think he's going to do pretty well. And being that he has the people that he has around him, I think he is going to do very, very well. That's the optimist side of me personally. But yeah, we got to, that's the one coach that we got. And I was like, hot diggity dog, man. I don't know about this.
Well, I mean, to be fair, and people that watch my show on a daily basis know that I was a huge fan of Matt Applebaum. That didn't work out. And I wasn't necessarily a huge fan right away of Butch Barry, but then it was kind of told to me or, explained to me, or I even observed it or thought about it in greater detail from a standpoint of, hey, look, Butch Barry is somebody that Mike McDaniel knows. I trust Mike McDaniel. He already made this offense a top 10 unit in the league. If he saw an inefficiency with Applebaum and replaced him after 1 year to bring in somebody that he's worked with in the past, who am I to question it with somebody who had a top 10 offense in the NFL? So I'm going to put my faith in McDaniel in this and think that it's going to work out the right way. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. So back to the question of the offensive line, you brought up scouting department with the Miami Dolphins. I know you've interacted with some scouts in the past. What are your thoughts about the scouts or the scouting department for the Miami Dolphins when it comes to offensive line? Because fans are like, hey, look, we've hit on some great people like Cater Kahoo on an undrafted free agent. It was an easy pick, I guess, to go out and get Christian Wilkins or Jalen Phillips. We got out and Javon Holland, but we whiffed on Noah Igbenogany. And so what is your thought process and how our scouting department is and our GM Chris Greer with that?
It's a difference, but having a good scouting is, I would argue, probably almost as important as having a good head coach. The reason I say that is because if you're able to develop talent, it means the world of the difference. You look at teams like the Rams, where they have a crap ton of UDFAs who started, and you're like, wow, they had a crappy year last year. Not hyping that up, but you see how they're able to develop talent. They have great scouting over there. I hate the New England Patriots. I can't stand them. But they get some random white dude who played for University of New Hampshire, random who played receiver
for 4 years, and then he turns out to be this great guy for 3 or 4 years of his rookie contract. And when he asks for top money, they get rid of him, and you never hear from him again.
Exactly, right? So, the Patriots are, probably some of the kings of that, man, right?
Yeah.
But then you have teams where, like the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants, where their scouting is,
they consistently get high round draft picks, and they go through them like candy.
Dude. So it's crazy because, like, I know people who have tried out for these teams and stuff like that, and then they take the cut. So I appreciate them looking at smaller schools, but they're not doing what the Patriots are doing. They're not doing what the Rams are doing. They're not doing what the Seattle Seahawks are doing. They get these random, Tariq Woolen. Holy cow. Shout out to UTSA. I used to live in San Antonio. But you get Tariq Woolen, and then this guy who was potentially going to be a UDFA or like a round 6-7 pick, and for him to be literally one of the best DBs in the league is amazing, right? I say it to say this: we're not completely hopeless, but I feel like we're more in the middle of the pack, if I'm being honest with you, because there's no team that hits on every pick, right? But this year we need to hit on 3 or 4 of them. We got
with 4 draft picks. You're right.
With 4 daggone draft picks, and we gotta be dang sure.
Is that fair, though, Doug? Is that fair to say that we have to hit on 3 or 4 because the odds are not in our favor for that? Just in general, from an NFL standpoint.
Yeah, I would say I'm hoping for 3. If we hit on 2, and like I already said, the right tackle and then left guard, I'll be a happy camper. And then the other guys, it could be projects, because day 3 in the draft, or excuse me, not day 3, but in day 3 of the draft, once you get to round 6 and 7, those are your project guys.
Yep.
Those are guys you took the risk on. Like, okay, this guy, he got in trouble in school, or this guy, man, he's slow as heck. But you look at the tape, holy cow, he has to bring something, right? Those are your guys, right? And this year, we have that, right? So for me personally, if we hit on those 2 picks, the guard and the tackle, I'll be elated because we have good linebackers already. We need some more depth there. We have probably one of the best secondaries on paper, and I know that's going to show on the field too. We're good there, but yeah, we need an O-line. Or else it's all right.
I want to come back to the O-line in a little bit. Let's move over to tight end. Tight end is something for me that I think is very important. We signed free agent Eric Saubert from the Denver Broncos. Not a lot of playing time, but when he was on the field, there was a lot of blocking that was going on. So he sounds like he's going to be a very good blocker, which is the opposite. And no offense to Mike Gesicki, but the opposite of what Gesicki was. And then you have Durham Smythe coming back again, as well as Tanner Connor. Being able to step up. So, and Alec Ingold did play, obviously, the fullback / tight end position. He played a lot of snaps from the tight end position last year. What do you think as far as tight end is concerned with the Miami Dolphins in the draft? Day 2, day 3, is there any specific names that you can think about or, touch on that could be a good pick for the Dolphins?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's my favorite. Those who know me, I played a year of tight end in college. I love tight end. It's my favorite position in football. There's a guy who I'm almost certain is going to be potentially the best tight end in the whole draft, and nobody's talking about him. Everybody's talking about Darnell Washington in Georgia. He's phenomenal. Love the guy, right? I'd love if we got him in the second round. I wouldn't be mad. But O-line got to come first. But this guy, Braden Willis, from University of Oklahoma. I've interviewed him personally, and I got some insider information, y'all. He did have an interview with the Dolphins, which may not mean much, but supposedly the interview went very, very well. And he made a comment when I interviewed Braden Willis. Now, this guy, he's 6'4", 245 pounds. I want to say he led or tied. He led all tight ends in this year's draft in touchdowns. So this is the guy Excuse me, forgive me. Sorry. He led the Oklahoma Sooners in touchdowns. So more than the running back, more than any other receivers. This guy is the freaking real deal. He is he's light-skinned Travis Kelce, essentially. and you know what's crazy? He made a comment. That he said, if you're not trying to be like Travis Kelce, then what in the HE double hockey sticks are you doing? And then you watch his tape, and his separation is crazy. And he's not like the biggest. He's like 245 pounds is big for us regular folks, but like as far as NFL, there's a lot more bigger tight ends, and he can block. That
was going to be my question for you, Doug. Can Braden Willis block? Because that's something that Gesicki couldn't do. Gesicki could get the separation. Gesicki could get the. Go ahead, Jason.
I think he can block downfield too. He's the kind of perfect McDaniel guy that could help out when a receiver. He's not going to be finished at the line of scrimmage. He's going to continue to play and help out others in the game of yak.
Yeah, no, he is that guy. That being said, there's a lot of good tight ends in this year's draft, man. I like the guy from South Dakota. He's really good. I love Darnell Wright. He's big. He almost reminds me of who's a tight end from Baltimore?
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews. Yeah, that guy. Oh my gosh, Darnell is. If I had to go outside of the O line, even though they technically are O line receivers, I would go Darnell Wright in the second round. Personally, it would be such a temptation not to, right? But at the same time, we got to go O line. And I know Darnell, he could potentially go in the first round. Then there's Dalton Kincaid as well, too, right? Dalton Kincaid is going to be gone by the end of the first round, 100%. Dalton Kincaid is, again, I would say maybe a little bit more polished version of Braden Willis, but Braden Willis has a high ceiling, and what he's shown on tape, that's a guy that he's probably going to take and be there. He's not even in the top 5 conversation, man, but you watch him on tape, and the tape does not lie. So yeah, I got Braden Willis round 6 for us for sure.
Jason, you want to go?
I like, 6 and 7 in those developmental picks, those rounds. Tight end would be great since it's such a deep class, and I agree very, very wholeheartedly with Doug. Yes, I know that there have been some misses on drafting early of offensive linemen, sure, but there's 3 or 4 guys in the top 51 on the outside and interior. There's 3 or 4 names that I'd be thrilled with. Whether it's Villa, whether it's Bergeron, whether it's Darnell Wright, offensive line has to be a priority. And if they could hit on a swing tackle, maybe challenge Austin Jackson at right, fill in for an injured Teron Armstead, because he's not going to play 17 games. I think we all know that. So maybe the 3 or 4 games we can get out of a potential rookie could be huge. And tight end, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's going to be a depth position that we work on later in the draft, including running back.
Yeah. I want to mention another name too, was Brenton Strange. Head coach Mike McDaniel supposedly had I never met Brenton before, but Brenton Strange is a tight end from Penn State. He's not as fast, but he gets decent separation, and he's a playmaker. He's probably a little bit slower than Mark Andrews. I would say he's very similar to Durham Smythe. That's a guy who will probably be there around 7. But he's a very good blocker, and he does have hands. It's just my concern is his separation is pretty good, not as good as a Braden Willis, but a little slower. But that's a guy who, and I say that because, again, Mike McDaniel has a lot of interest from what I read online about him. So we'll see what happens.
I've heard a lot of good things about him too. OJ McDuffie, Penn State alumni. He's look at you wearing the OJ shirt today, my guy.
Love that jersey.
Gotta go Juice over here. Gotta go Juice.
Was very high on him. By the way, the center for the Nittany Lions
Juice.
too, Juice Scruggs, right? I think is his name. Yeah. He seems like somebody that I know you could eventually you could draft him and move our current center over to guard, back to guard, which is his natural position. And that could clarify that. There's a lot of people that think that we shouldn't replace our center. I get it. I understand it. But I mean, that is something that could happen. And if they have been in Penn State, McDaniel and Greer, they went to the pro days. And from what I've heard, they're very high on both those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a name like Juice Scruggs, you got to earn that name. You can't be garbage with a name like Juice,
No doubt about that. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on Miami Sports Music's podcast network. We're hanging out. We got the man Touchdown with Doug Smith in here. We got a few more minutes with him. I want to be respectful of your time. Let's talk about the running back situation. Miami, quote unquote, ran it back with everything, right? We ran it back with Myles Gaskin, Salvin Ahmed, and obviously Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. But there is this kind of theory or conversation out there that if Jahmyr Gibbs drops, that the Dolphins could potentially move up in the second round and try to reach for somebody like him. My first question is, do you see anything like that happening? My second question to you is, do the Dolphins draft a running back at all? Because Ahmed's and Gaskin's contracts are non-guaranteed. They have to make the roster for their contract to be guaranteed. So if they like somebody in the draft and they're available, do you think the Dolphins could go running back?
Man, I hope that we stick to our guns, as tempting as it is, because there's going to be really good players that fall out of the first round. There's going to be really good players. There's going to be good receivers that fall the first round. There's going to be good running backs that fall out of the first round. And Jahmyr Gibbs, that's a huge possibility. I think personally he'll be gone early second round. I don't see that happening. If it happens, man, we need to focus on the O-line, y'all. And I don't want to be a situation where like, oh, well, we got one good O-lineman, and let's say he don't work out. I'm hoping we hit at least on one or two of these O-linemen that we're hoping to draft for sure. So I don't see the Dolphins going running back at all. But if they do, it could potentially be a round 7 or round 6 guy.
Caslin 143 with the $5 donation. He said, I love that people are finally talking about Willis finally. I like that, man. It's always good when some of the fan base likes a player and then somebody like yourself kind of validates that, because we all kind of look for it in certain players of maybe we want to see. Is there any other names of people as far as tight ends, offensive linemen, running backs, or linebackers that we haven't discussed that, hey, Dolphins fans, keep your eye out on this. This could be a steal in day 2 or day 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I love if he's available on day 3, man, I'll be the happiest man ever, man. I absolutely love. Now, I would say day 2, he'll probably be gone day 2, but it's Trenton Simpson from Clemson, man. That guy, he's athletic, 6'3", 240 pounds, man. Versatile, man. He could take and cover receivers. And this guy is, I don't know if you remember Madden 2005, where they introduced the hit stick. He's a human hit stick, this guy. He's such a beast, man. Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, just go O-line your first 2 picks. There's gonna be a lot of shiny toys. Don't do it. It's like go for the housewife that's stable. Don't go for the Kim Kardashian who's gonna cheat on you, man. Come on now.
We getting real messy up here today on Spread Kindness Friday, man. We're talking about feet fetishes and Kim Kardashian cheating. Shout out to Pete Davidson. I feel you, man. I feel you, Pete. We're with you, my guy.
Then you have Drew Sanders, man. Drew Sanders is amazing, man. This guy had 9.5 sacks. I'm reading here. He had 1 interception, 3 fumbles forced. That's one of my favorite statistics to see, because that means the other side of the ball is going to have a chance to score. But Drew Sanders, linebacker, that guy is a huge playmaker. If he's there for round 3 and we go right tackle in the second round, I'll be so happy. And then again, there'll be some decent O-linemen. I think we'll slide to round 6 for us. But those would be some of my favorite linebackers for this year's draft for sure.
Look, man, the last thing I kind of want to talk about with you, not necessarily draft prospects, but draft day trades. You discussed it earlier. What would something, I don't know if you have anything in mind of what something might look like for the Dolphins trading back, or what you could possibly see, and I have to bring this up to you, Cedric Wilson, Christian Wilkins' name's been conversating and some things. Like, where's your head at in Miami Dolphins draft day trades?
Man, bro, if we got Cedric Wilson, I'll take him for a bag of peanuts, but I know that's not a real trade, so it can't happen. But if we trade Cedric Wilson, he's a huge playmaker. I don't know what the heck happened this year. Maybe it was stuff in practice. Maybe the scheme was too complex for him. I mean, we've seen this before with other coaches, right? When someone not just with the Dolphins, this happens on other teams as well, too. If we traded Cedric Wilson for like a round 7, I'd be so happy because that's another player that I have a feeling we're probably going to get another 2 picks. I have a huge feeling if we get another 2 picks, I'll be very happy because there's so many great players in this year's draft, man. But another one that I like is what if we take our second round? We trade our second round for another 3rd and a 4th. I would take that. I would definitely take that because that's where you win rounds 2 through 5, man. If you get a lot of those, man, dude, I'm gonna be so happy, man. So if we could trade our
so getting out of 51, trading back into the 3rd round, so now you have 2 3rd-round picks again.
Yeah, and then another 4th,
and then another 4th. So you'd have two 3s and 2 4s.
I would take that personally. Yeah,
interesting. All right, what about Christian Wilkins? What are your thoughts on the Christian Wilkins front? Now, the report came out yesterday in local media down in South Florida that they have negotiated. They are in negotiations. Both sides have put offers. They're not necessarily close to where they want to be yet, either side, but they both said they're very optimistic that they're going to come to some sort of an agreement. But it's always on the table, and obviously the fan base has definitely been talking about a draft day trade for Christian Wilkins and seeing what you could get from him. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But what are your thoughts on the Christian Wilkins front?
Man, Christian Wilkins is at the prime of his career, and that guy, he's such a force in the locker room. If you lose him, dude, he is one of the anchors. One of the main anchors of our defense, man, whether it's his celebrations, how active he is on the team, whether it's getting in Josh Allen's head. I love it. He's so darn important for the Miami Dolphins, man. I don't see him getting traded at all. If we were to trade him, I'd hope that we get like 2 second-round picks or something, man. Like,
I don't think that's worth it for what he is. You need in my opinion,
first rounder maybe.
I said this yesterday. And it's never going to happen. But I said the only way I'd be comfortable or even happy, I guess, but comfortable with trading him away is getting a Laramie Tunsil type haul. And seeing as he's not an offensive lineman, he's never going to get a Laramie Tunsil type haul. Yeah. And I just don't see it ever happening. But if you could get it, then I think I would be. You couldn't say no to that. I get it. I totally understand why they traded him away. You got a Laramie Tunsil type haul for him, but I don't think I don't think there's not a GM on the planet that's going to pull that trigger unless their name is who was the guy for the GM for the Texans, who's not O'Brien. The GM, Bill O'Brien. He's not the GM no more. So there you go. You know, it's not there, man. So that's kind of where I see that. Real quick, with
documentary.
$5 donation says dream draft Avila, Rush, Willis, and Dorian Williams, linebacker from Tulane. What do you think of that, from Caslin?
I like that. Dorian Williams. Oh, yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah, that linebacker from Tulane is cold. He is cold. He'll probably be gone by round 3. He's a cold one. Avila. Okay, I'm familiar with that name. I'm familiar with Rush. I love it. Another name I want to mention too is I believe it's Tim Bergeron, the tackle from Syracuse.
Okay.
Matt Bergeron. Yep.
Matt Bergeron.
That's my guy. That's like my number one dude.
Nando Talk and Jason Sarney up here, and Nando Talk, who also does stuff, Hot Take Tuesday up here with us, are in love with Matt Bergeron.
That's the pound on it. That's the guy that if I was there, I'd be doing. What's the guy's name? The Michael Flatley, the jig guy, the Irish jig guy. I'd be doing that on the war room table if Matt Bergeron was around 50s or 84.
I love it, dude. That guy, it's like he has superpowers, and when he puts his hands on people, they just, he's really good, man. I like him a lot, man. Good footwork, good agility, man. When people try to take and bull rush him, man, he controls the situation. You look at the talent that Syracuse is going up against, man, and how he handled it and how he dominated in his role. That's another thing, too. How did you dominate in your role? Regardless of what the record was, how did you dominate your role? And also, how did the running game was? They have, I think it's Sean Tucker. He's considered a top 10 running back in this year's draft, right? He'll probably be gone maybe by round 5 or 6. That's a guy who, like you look at Matt Bergeron, it's like, hey, you also got to celebrate those yards as well too, because you're responsible for that, right? So I look at that as well too, and how Sean Tucker is more he's more of an edge rusher, I would say. He's more someone who's going to go off of the tackles, and with how I look at Sean Tucker, his stature is very similar to at least 2 or 3 of our running backs in our draft room, right? So I look at that, and if we get Matt Bergeron, I feel the second round could be a little high, but I wouldn't be mad at all if we picked him up in the second. I think he might be in the third potentially as well.
Third round would be theft, and I'd be thrilled. But you're right.
Yeah.
Second is a little too up. Maybe trade back 60s, 70s, but third round would be massive celebration there.
Super pumped. Heck yeah, man. I got to try to get him on the show, man. That's a big name.
Oh my God. Nando and Jason. You got to have Nando and Jason on with you though, because those two guys are in love. I have never seen two guys more in love with a prospect than Jason.
Bro, man.
Yeah.
There's always one or two. Every year I always got one or two.
And Bergeron is definitely one of them. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I have the touchdown with Doug Smith hanging out with us this morning. All right, you have a lot of content on the channel and some content coming up. Tell the people what you got coming up. Tell the people what they should be seeing because your content is way too good and the masses need to go see it and need to go to it.
Thank you so much, man. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me on the show today, man. Dude, man, I've had this has been a fun draft season, man. I'm actually wrapping up my draft series. I probably have another 2 to 3 NFL draft prospects coming on the show. I'm trying to get Luke Schoonmaker on the show. So working with his people, trying to get him on the podcast as well. I'm hoping to at least have 1 to 2 more big names, man. But dude,
Matt
so
Bergeron.
far, man, it's been fun.
Matt Bergeron.
Oh yeah, Matt Bergeron. Yeah. That's somebody, man. I'm actually gonna try to reach out to today, man. So and it's cool. Once I get these interviews, I show them the interviews I've done already, and it helps for me to get leverage. And I'm not some random dude on Instagram, being a creep stuff. But yeah, check out my interviews, man.
Some guy with getting his jaw broken from his wife's foot and anything like that. Shout out to Rashad. Rashad is in the building. Let's go, Rashad. Good morning, buddy. Oh, I can't wait to hang out with you later. Go ahead.
I can still pop my jaw to this day, actually. But yeah, check it out, man. Here's some names I've had on, man. We've had Nick Jones from Ball State. That guy's probably going to be a late day 2, early round 3. We've had Shaka Hayward, linebacker, Duke University, man. And again, I got inside information on a lot of these guys, man. A quarterback that I like, I don't think we're going to draft quarterback, but like Luke Bonner, that's a dude who was one of the best quarterbacks in college football last year. He got injured, 2 years ago, and then he got injured last year. I got to interview him. Tywan Garbett from Virginia Tech. That's a name. A running back who's one of my favorites, Deontay McMahon, who I think he had between rushing and catching about 1,600 yards for McNeese State. That guy is Alvin Kamara. He's literally Alvin Kamara. He's probably going to be a UDFA realistically, if I'm being honest with you, but there's no way in heck that he's not going to make a team. That guy is
somebody's going to pick. Look, Cater Kahoo didn't get drafted, and somebody missed out. There were 30 plus teams that missed out on him, but not the Dolphins.
And fun statistic, y'all. I think it was 22 or 21% of all the players in last year who are on rosters were UDFAs. So UDFAs are super important. That's, again, when the draft is over and we start signing people, that's my next celebration. You know what I mean? It's like back-to-back Christmases, like UDFAs are super duper important. Dorian Hall, that's a safety I got to interview from FIU. I know there's a lot of Canes fans in the house, but Dorian Hall is ranked the number 4 safety in this year's draft, man. I had him on the show. That's a guy you also want to take a look at. I don't see us getting a safety, y'all. I think we're pretty much stacked up there. But then there's Tyler Huseman, who's another running back who's probably going to be around 7, UDFA. He had a try with the Chicago Bears yesterday. That's
the Bears.
Right. Yeah, the Bears. Eric Gray, again, another guy, Alvin Kamara clone. This guy's amazing. I had Trey Tucker on. Trey Tucker is considered potentially the best kick returner in this year's 2023 NFL draft, and he could play slot corner and he could play the deep route.
We got Braxton Berrios now, though, Doug. We don't. We got the GOAT from University of Miami. He's not the GOAT, but I do love him. You're right. Competition breeds competition. Yeah. I just dropped your link to the channel in the chat. So if you everything Doug's saying right now, you can go listen to after today's show here.
That's
you
right.
Wait till after today's show and then go listen to Doug. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to subscribe to that man's channel. That's the first thing you are going to do.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man. But yeah, man, I have so many interviews. And then even like last year's draft, we had like N'Kobe Dean, Hassan Haskins, Brian Asamoah, who's going to have more of a prominent role in the Vikings defense, who fits the Brian Flores long arms favorite type of player, Danny Gray from the 49ers, man. Last year was really great. This year, I doubled the amount of people I interviewed. Last year, I think I had 15. This year, I had over 30. So, and the next year, my goal is 40 interviews. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to. My goal with the Touchdown with Doug Smith is January through April is to be one of the best places on the internet to watch pre-draft interviews and pre-draft content and stuff.
Well, you got a couple new subs: Manalo, Pete's Take, Shake Money, Todd L. They all just subscribe to the channel. That's what this is all about. We're family here on Spread Kindness Friday at Miami Sports Music. I know that you can't give me the okay, but I really hope we have the opportunity to hang out with you on draft 2 of draft night because you're so knowledgeable and you get all this stuff, man. You are one of the best in the community. I'm telling you right now, you are.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. And dog, you're one of the big dogs of the Miami Dolphins community as well, bro. Like, you've been doing your thing. You are a legend. Jason, you're a legend, man. Like, we have and for those who don't know, I follow like 1,500 Facebook groups of every team. So I kind of know what's going on and other perspectives and stuff like that. Helps for me to create content too. And ain't nothing like Miami Dolphins community, man. Ain't nothing, nobody like us, man. Like, we're the DJ Khaled. We the best. We have a lot of special people in the community, man. And Stephen Daniels, man, Miami Dolphins community would not be the same without you, man. You are super.
I appreciate that.
You are super, extremely important, man. Like, you matter. When there's, I'll keep it real, man. Before you started doing this, man, there was a lot of civil wars and fires within the community, and you're responsible for putting a lot of that out, man. You prevent a lot of forest fires. You know what I mean? And
only you can prevent forest fires.
So,
I'm coming up with a nickname for Stephen D after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Smokey the Bear. dude, I really appreciate you saying that. You're making me blush on Spread Kindness Friday. I don't think I necessarily do that, but I try to practice what I preach, and that is spread kindness, positivity, and love. Except when I'm on the Phins tailgate with those crazy people over there. Those guys, okay? I spread craziness over there. No, I love those guys too. So it's great having you on. I hope to get you on more, especially next year. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep grinding out the content that you're doing. And as long as you do that, man, you're going to go far in this business. And I know you are, because you're a great guy, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. It's Fins up, baby. And I'm going to say this. We win in the Super Bowl either this year or next year. It's happening. We're going to win a Super Bowl. I profess it in Jesus' name.
I love it, man. I love it. Chef Shu says, I've been subscribed to you for months, probably a year now,
Chef Shu, what's up, man? I know Chef Shu.
Chef Shu's the guy, man. All right, Doug, we will see you next time. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks on Friday. You'll keep me updated on that, but keep grinding, man. Keep doing your thing, and we will be on the lookout for your amazing content on your channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the Touchdown with Doug Smith, man.
God bless you guys. Have a good night.
Great
Thank
stuff,
you so much.
Have a great weekend, bro.
Love it, man. Love it.
Wow. Great stuff.
Man,
he knows his stuff. Nothing makes me happier than watching guys who could just go off the cuff and just talk about prospects. I mean, that's a whole other level of stuff.
He's so good. He's a former football player in college, and he's really good. He's so knowledgeable at what he does. Look, I've been trying to get this guy on the squad now for a few years. He's so, that's how good he is, right? And I'm not trying to pump up my talent. Recognizes talent, and Doug Smith is the epitome of really good talent in the YouTube community. He's good at what he does. He's really knowledgeable. He assesses talent, and most importantly, he's really good with the players too, right? And if you go and look at some of his interviews, you'll see a lot of that stuff. And that's what I like about the community, especially when you have somebody like him, right? Somebody who's willing to, take the time and the effort into making great quality content. And somebody like Doug is somebody who everybody should be following. Bills fans, Dolphins fans, everything, because he does do a lot of stuff for. He's not just a Dolphins YouTuber; he's a Dolphins fan that does focus on the Dolphins, but his content is for college football, as far as like the prospects for the NFL, and he does a lot of stuff with a lot of the other teams, as far as like mock drafts and just doing previews. And he'll get any player on in the NFL too. He's had NFL players on as well. So. Just go check out his content, guys. I can't say enough about him. Touchdown with Doug Smith. The link is in the chat. I will even put it up there one more time for y'all in the chat because it's that good. Go check him out, man. All right, it's Spread Kindness Friday, Jason. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. Getting back into the swing of things after the vacation week. Kids are all back in school. We're all back into the regular routine.
I know.
And
that's how I feel. I'm like, all right, I'm back in the routine with everything.
Back in the routine.
I'm back in. It gets a little crazy. You need a vacation from the vacation, right?
That's what the weekend is for. The weekend, we got the soccer. We got the weekend stuff. Little grocery shopping, all that fun stuff. But other than that, just gonna really lay low key. Looking forward to that.
Low key for a little bit, man. Low key
weekend.
I like it, man.
That's also draft coverage. And Doug when I rewatch this show, I'm gonna take out the old pen, the old highlighter, and just start writing all his names that he said and do some research because we're 2 weeks away basically, and perfect time to really get locked and loaded for draft coverage for the Dolphins.
Well, let me ask you a couple things. Let's from a fan perspective, that excitement kind of gets going here, right? Like fans are like, oh my God, the draft's going to be here in 2 weeks. We finally got they're just yearning for content around this side of the year, right? Mm-hmm. My question to you is from a team perspective, not from a fan's perspective, from a team perspective. Are they in the war room now, 2 weeks out? Are they? What is this process like today, 2 weeks out for the team? In
pure speculation, mix of what I've heard, what I would be doing. It's April. It's right now. There might be a player in the seat right now that in like 5 hours we'll hear was being interviewed. There might be 2 or 3 scouts right now calling players, reps, agents, families, maybe meetings, setting up meetings. The wheels are churning, they're in motion, and the gears are grinding, and they're preparing. They're probably preparing trade scenarios. They're probably preparing their board, and they're structuring their board. So I would say we're Friday. We're 2 weeks away. So I would say from 2 weeks ago, it's in the office, going home, probably save 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe sleeping on the couch in the office. You know what I mean? This is the stereotypical all hands on deck. And the Dolphins, I think I would wager they have a second round, a third round, a sixth round, and a seventh round. That won't stay the same. That's my wager.
I'll one of the things I'd like to do, because I don't know if a lot of fans do it, and I think a little bit about it, and I'm pretty sure Doug Smith does. I'd love to know what exactly a draft board looks like in a war room and how it's broken down. Can you give to any insight on what a draft board looks like, and when a GM or a scout and they're looking at it and they're talking about it and they're saying, okay, look, do they have a list of names that they like, positional players that are top in the, compared or comparable for where they're going to pick? What does a draft board look like in a war room?
I have never with my own eyes seen an NFL draft board in an NFL war room. What I have seen are similar types of boards and structures in NBA senses. And what I could probably guess, let's mix up the knowledge that I have in my head about that, and then the knowledge that we all have. Let's say things like draft day. Let's say things like Moneyball. A lot of magnetic nameplates. Mm-hmm. Big, huge white boards, right? Numerous individuals around. All right, we're at running back. Throw me Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs goes on there. And then throw me Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet goes on there. And then maybe there's another side of the board that's completely defense. Jack Campbell. You know what I'm saying? So they're throwing names up, and they're not using ink. They're using very easily movable. It could be digitized these days. It could be completely touch screened. You know what I mean? That is something that I would probably guess. Forget the magnets these days. It's 2023. Someone's probably manipulating it on a touch screen like we would see those people on CNN or ESPN do when they're broadcasting. And they're just structuring it. And they're preparing. And then they're going to prepare loads and loads of scenarios. And here's where probably pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and Excel spreadsheets come into play. Much, 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 much financially, economically, and football savvier people than me. But I can tell you that they ain't golfing right now, and they ain't at the pool. They're working.
They're not golfing on a game day. I don't want to bring that up. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to go there.
I didn't mean to go there for some people. I didn't want to start that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
They have 90-hour weeks, and there's no way around that.
Yeah, I would venture to guess that is the case. I think for me, it's very interesting. I would love to know the inner workings of specifically the Miami Dolphins, and obviously I won't know, but I think it's always interesting from the standpoint of a GM, a head coach, and in this case, it's going to be a little bit differently too, Jason, because Vic Fangio is going to play a different part of this. You usually have your GM and your head coach, right? And you have your scouts, right? Well, now we have a GM and quote unquote, I think it's fair to say, I don't think it's disrespectful to say two head coaches, right? You got your offensive side and McDaniel, and you got your defensive side in Fangio. And I'm sure they're both in the war room and they're saying, I want this guy. I want this guy. All right. And I guess I would assume if McDaniel wants somebody and Fangio wants somebody, does Fangio get the upper hand because he's the new guy? Or does Greer make the final decision of that? What happened? What would you venture to guess happens if that scenario were to come up at pick 51, where McDaniel wants an offensive guy and Fangio wants a defensive guy? What do you think happens in that scenario?
That's too good of a question for me to feel comfortable answering accurately. How do you measure the accuracy? It's a fantastic question. Wow. I would try to really jump into the kind of mindset of a Fangio and a McDaniel. Now, let's say there's a player that Fangio is literally, is he a guy to pound the table, or is he the guy to kind of very calm, cool, and collect to be like, this is a guy I could turn into an all-pro? And then if you hear Fangio say that and you match that with the need versus what maybe McDaniel wants, I do think the final decision is the GM, because as we've seen, and I'm not saying this in any other way than what we've seen, coaches can be expendable throughout the lifeblood of a first-round or second-round draft picks contract. So the GM should usually have that final say. In some cases, Jerry Jones was mentioned. He's the final. You know what I mean? But I think that if it's a McDaniel versus Fangio preference, it's got to be what Greer values as the more pressing need. Exactly. It's not best player available. To me, it's best player of highest need available.
Clemente 3472 says Fangio needs to do his job being the highest paid coordinator and work with the guys we got. We need more on offense. Ray says Greer gets the last word, but at the end of the day, McDaniel is the head coach. McDaniel over Fangio. I think there's probably truth in both of those statements, right?
Yeah, 1,000% truth in each of those statements where we could find it. Absolutely. And you know what? A dream, that one bucket list dream, unbelievable. If I had a genie pop out of a bottle, my first wish would be, give me a seat in the war room. And that is to be a fly on the wall on that, man, is a dream. So I don't know how these things are, but I could imagine there have been stories that we've heard that there are guys that do the dancing on the table, pound the fist on the table, when does that happen? Who does that? Is it a coordinator? Is it a coach? Is it someone who has a college experience? I truly believe somebody did that for Javon Holland a couple of years ago, So who is it this year?
I don't know. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Over 90 of y'all watching in the room, hit the like button. And if you can, donate to the channel. Help the channel go. It's Spread Kindness Friday. Donating helps the channel grow. It allows us to be able to do this show on a day in, day out basis with everybody that we do it with. And I do want to thank Doug for coming on earlier. And I want to thank you. You come on twice this week, man. Thank you so much for helping out and being a part of the family. All right, what I want to do right now, just because I was gone for a week and a lot of people, I want to allow people to come up here and have conversations with us. So I'm going to open up the lines, let people come up and hang out with us. And that's what I'm going to do today. It is y'all's show. It is the fan show. Whatever y'all want to talk about, it's y'all's party. It's y'all's world. We're just living in it.
I just work here.
We're just living in it, man. So I'm going to press the buttons. Make sure the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Feel free to come up here. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. While we're waiting for the people, the masses to come on. Let's talk about Jack Campbell real quick, because that name has been brought up a lot.
Okay, we can do that.
Is Jack Campbell somebody that the Miami Dolphins are going to go after if he's there? Will they reach up to get him if they love him? What are your thoughts about the Dolphins' relationship or love or lust for Jack Campbell?
Well, I don't know. There's 3 L's. There's like, love, lust. So I don't know which L they're at the moment. I'm at love. We all know who I'm lusting over. But I really love the potential of, look, if Jack Campbell's sitting there at 51, we get him, and then for whatever reason, Matt Bergeron drops to round 3, I draft Bergeron and then literally light up the cigar. That would be, those 2 players are plug and play. The 6th and the 7th are gravy.
If you got Jack Campbell and Matt Bergeron with your first 2 picks,
A
plus, no matter what we do with the other 2 picks.
I would say you jump into the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round via player trade then. I say you're not done. If it's me, hoping what they do is you utilize those slots to get the best player of need available. Now, I know that I said offensive tackle should be the best player of need available, but if Campbell's sitting there and maybe your top 3 or 4 wanted linemen are gone, I think it's the home run to go get Campbell. And if you have to move up, and if you can, to get 65, 75 range for Bergeron or another solid top tier lineman for them, still a win. But to get back to Campbell, I think he's the kind of player you draft and you develop. 4 years if you get him in the 2nd round, $4 or $5 million per. So it makes
Richard. There is a theory, a working theory. I was trying to figure out the phrase to use. There's a working theory that he's going to drop to the 2nd round. And it'll be a high 2nd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to drop out of the 1st round. Now, he's good enough to be a mid 1st round pick. Nobody's denying that. But there's a huge consensus that are saying he's going to drop to the 2nd. And if he's there, I got to think the Dolphins are considering it, because he would be such a great addition to this roster.
I would agree. Now, the problem is draft assets. They do not have them to move up substantially. So if you're going from 51 to 33, if you want to do that trade where you're opening up the 2nd round, that's essentially a 1st round pick, kinda. So you can't trade the 51 and your 6th and 7th for it. You need higher assets, and to me that says player. So I don't like naming names and exports. I feel that to be maybe potentially insulting to players. But if a guy like a Jerome Baker might fit well on a team that would be better suited for him in all aspects of his life and career, Maybe Cleveland, they pick around 40. If Jack Campbell is around, pick 38, 39, I'm trading Jerome Baker to Cleveland and swapping picks, moving 51 and Baker to Cleveland. They got their veteran linebacker, and we got a younger linebacker, $10 million cheaper, and develop. And
nobody's going to complain off that. Not one person would complain that.
It might cost more.
Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. Kevin Lee with the $10 donation. What's good, Steven and Jason? Real quick question. Who's y'all's prediction on the upcoming NHL playoffs? Florida plays Boston first round. Tough matchup. My Dallas Stars will win it all. My prediction. Kevin, here's the thing. Last 2 years on this show, I've been preaching that Florida's going to do it all. Florida's going to be great. Panthers are one of the best. They won the most wins. They're going to do it. Never did it. Could not get past Lewis's Tampa Bay Lightning. But you know what? Because nobody's talking about them, because they barely limped into the playoffs, I think that they can pull it out, man. If they were the favorites and couldn't do it last year, now they're not the favorites. Let's surprise the world. That's my theory. As long as they beat Boston, I really don't care. And I really want them to beat Tampa Bay because I hate Tampa Bay. And I love you, Lewis, but I really don't want to see the Lightning win again. I'm over the Lightning winning, okay? I want to see the championship somewhere else. Nobody wants to see Tampa Bay win anything. Although I do like the Tampa Bay Rays right now, and I do want to see them win game number 14 and break Major League Baseball history. It will be awesome. All right, first game. First guest. I believe this is Mr. Action Man himself. Is this Rashad? What's up, my guy? You have been the top of the conversation this morning, bud.
I missed that part. I joined the show and somebody with feet. Well, Trucker Sean had a foot.
Trucker Sean had his foot. I'm mad that he changed it back. He should have left it on for at least the whole show. But he didn't want to make you feel bad, I think. But I knew you won't feel bad. You're taking this all in good fun and good stride. For those of you who don't know, yesterday, because there's people that don't listen to Twitter and are like, what are you guys talking about? Feet fetish? What? Rashad has a phobia of feet, okay? I'm putting it out there. Rashad's not mad. He put himself out there to it yesterday on the Twitter space, okay? Rashad has a foot fetish and is in, where were you, Puerto Rico? Is that where you're at?
Y'all have a foot
Puerto
fetish.
Rico.
No.
Talking about Puerto Ricans' feet while he's in the pool and how God deathly afraid of them they are. And so then it kind of manifested itself from there. We went from there to I now have started a Miami Dolphins foot thing on feetpicks.com, I think it is. Paying $9 a month to have Miami Dolphins fans feet on feet, whatever this is. And by the way, I'm at over 200 views, just so you know, Rashad.
I hope you're making some money.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how like the money part works.
At least $9 so far. Somebody subscribe.
Just give me the $10 and I'll be good. Okay, but yeah,
right.
At least enough money to get a pedicure.
I know, right? The title of my little thing on it is called Feet with a PH, PHEET, Phins Feet Finder. Phins Feet Finder. So
you said feet with a PH, right?
With a PH.
The whole thing. Phins Feet Finder. Like all PHs.
Yeah. You like it?
Wow.
We did it for you, Rashad.
Now
I am known as this crazy person because I reposted it on Twitter, and now people are like, Steven, you're a weird guy. You're a little crazy. All right. And
just
then we had Doug this morning opening up about his feet experience of his wife breaking his jaw with his foot, when they were just dating, and he was courting her, and she broke his jaw with her foot, not doing anything that adults don't do. Consenting adults don't do.
Seat isn't for everybody. See how that works?
Kevin Lee, you're going to get your cards, man.
Do I have his address?
Kevin Lee, hit up at Jason_Sarney.
I can't send him to the air, Kev. Send me the address, brother. Tell me what card you want.
Well, I know that some things did get lost in the mail. Look, there's 3 people, actually 4. Riding Waves needs to get his pin from me, and I've sent it out, and it's been lost twice. Swear to God, lost twice in the mail. Okay, and everybody's like, Steven, this happens. Go to the USPS Postal Service. Let's complain to them. Okay. I'm coming out of my own pocket every time I got to get a new pen or do something. Anyways, you're going to get your stuff, I promise. Kevin Lee, just re-up with Jason just to make sure everything's good. Finn Daddy Big Dougie B says USPS is the worst. I know, it's making me look bad. Riding Waves was on his Twitch getting at me saying, Steven didn't send me anything. He's a liar. Riding Waves and I are cool now. I explained to him what happened, and yeah, it's a whole thing. I love you, Riding Waves. Anyways, okay. All right, let's bring on somebody else. Rasta, what's up, man?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, is it Raster? Rasta?
Yeah, Raster.
Raster.
Yes, sir.
I like that name. That's a good name. I've never heard that before. I like Raster.
Thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate
What's
you.
up, man? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Miami.
Miami, man. Are you good down there? Have you been swimming?
Yeah. Oh, man. Jet skiing and everything.
Man,
you got the socks
all
on.
that rain down there. You doing good? You're safe, though? That's
You're
all
all
that
right,
matters.
bro.
As long as you're safe, man.
Yeah, man. Safe, brother. I'm safe. Hey, but I want to talk about this this running back situation down here in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got Mostert, we got Wilson, we got Gavin, we got the other guy. And I know a lot of people on this bandwagon that try to get Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, right?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, if we're doing running back by committee, right? 3 running backs, you know, one maybe get 15, another one 10, another one maybe get 3 or 4 or 5 carries. Why do we need a running back that's going to command at least $10 million a year or more, like Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry, when we can get somebody like Zach Charbonnet or
That's
another
a hell
running
of a
back?
point. That's a hell
All
of a
right,
point.
so here's I'm not saying I agree with this. This is the counter argument to that theory, okay?
Yeah.
I could spend $4 million, $5 million, I think is what it is, for a total of 4 running backs that equal the productivity. Maybe not quite the full productivity, but we're talking, what, 90% of the productivity compared to what Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook do. And if one of them get hurt, I can plug and play. If Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry gets hurt, who's replacing them? Nobody. And how much money's out the window? $20 million, $15 million, whatever you're going to pay them, some stupid amount of money.
Exactly. And that's my attitude. So if we're doing running back by committee, as far as I'm concerned, Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry is a no-go. Plus, you got to look at their age, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got one guy 27, the other guy's 29. And then when you think about running backs, they have a very short shelf life. They can do 1,200 one year and drop down to 700 the next year, averaging 3.8 yards a carry. That's the running back in the NFL. I remember my guy from Seattle, Sean. Forgot his last name.
Sean Alexander.
Sean Alexander. The previous year, he had 1,700 yards, right? They re-upped his contract. Dude dropped down to like about 700, 800 the next year and wasn't the same, right? But he got his money, which is good. I'm glad the brother got his money. But then at the end of the day, after he got his money, his production fell off. That's something that I want to avoid with the Dolphins. Go ahead.
But to be fair, all right, again, I'm going to counter this argument, and I'm going to go to the other side, okay? Flip-flopper himself here. To the other side of that is with Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley. They have a history of being productive over a long tenured period of time. Sean Alexander, when he did that, he had 1 or 2 good seasons. Those other guys.
MVP.
But when he re-upped with that first contract after that big year, he hadn't had a big year like that yet. He was good. Don't get it twisted, but he hadn't had that big a year yet. I can remember off the top of my head. If somebody can feel free to correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of difference with that, because if you're going to pay Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, you're paying for what they did in the past as well as what they could possibly be before you in the future, right? And so that's the counter argument. Sean Alexander was never Dalvin Cook. He was never Derrick Henry.
Right.
Sean Alexander, I think, had one great year.
Like 1,700 yards.
2 or 3 mediocre ones. And the
Okay.
rest,
All right, so hold up. This is what he had. 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, right? Second year in the league. Third year in the league, 1,100 yards, 1,175 yards. Alexander, 16 touchdowns. 1,435 yards, 14 touchdowns. 1,700 yards.
all right, I stand corrected. My theory has been you proved your point. He had 5 seasons with over 1,000 yards. I stand corrected. Never mind. I'll shut up. I won't say anything. But to be fair, and I think it is, the thought process is Sean Alexander was never on the. I don't think we ever thought of Sean Alexander. Maybe it's just me.
Dalvin Cook has never been.
I think of Dalvin Cook the same way I think of Derrick.
Cook has never been as good as Sean Alexander. Never.
Steven, I don't know, because Derrick Henry. It took Derrick Henry to become King Henry. It took a while. It took some time.
All right, let me.
Sean
let me
Alexander came out
into this conversation. My brother from another mother, Shake Money. I got my man Cap for Life. I got Todd, and I got Teapot 954.
Hey, the one thing
hold up, Todd, before you get going, Cap.
Yeah,
Jason's
I want first dibs. I want first dibs. Good morning to everyone. First and foremost, good morning to Steven, Sarney, Mustache, to everybody. Listen, all right. Let me tell you something, bro. For that $10 million coming in December, do you think that would be a bargain for Derrick Henry not to touch the ball until December and do what he does best in December, which we cannot do best in December? Does that $10 million average to a Super Bowl?
Let me interrupt. That's a fair point, right? Like,
I think it's a very fair point.
Agree or disagree with you. I'm saying you're saying you pay him that money because of what he can do in December and January,
bro.
If
this Darren Schultz guy from the Cowboys, the tight end that everybody wanted in Miami, can take a 1-year deal for $9 million, what makes you think that Derrick Henry can't take a friendly deal to win with a team that's ready to win now for 1 year to play in December when the rest of the team can't throw the ball?
Hey, Cap, I'm agreeing with you on this. But
Todd, talk to me, Todd. I know you know, Todd.
But the thing is, it's not even just that. What was our weakness against the Chargers and the Niners? They dropped all their linebackers in the coverage. You think they're going to do that?
And that was it. We were done. We were toast. Yep.
You think, out of respect, the linebackers can't drop back, which is going to help Waddle? And
exactly. They have to show that respect. That's why his name is King Henry.
Guys, to y'all point. This is to y'all point.
Footmaster, please talk to them, bro.
They dropped the linebackers back. We just decided not to run the ball. When we ran the ball in December, it was
no. I don't want to hear about anything about coaching. You guys said coaching was the main issue.
It's a matter of they won't.
I don't want to hear anything about coaching. You guys are complaining about coaching, and coaching screwed up.
I'm not complaining.
Hold up 1 second,
Cap. I hope not.
Cap, hold up 1 second, bud. Go ahead, Jason.
Cap, ask the question. Let the person finish.
Sorry, Jay.
Calm down, Cap. All right. Let me go to Teapot 954. First of all, Teapot, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back to the show, man. I miss you, buddy. How you been?
I'm good. How y'all boys doing?
Pretty good, man. You got something to say on this deal with Cap's point about Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook?
Not necessarily. I came up here really to kind of get y'all's opinion on something that's going on with my kid or my foster kid. So okay. I'm from Plantation, Florida.
We're a family here. Let's go. I'm all for
it. This guy's phone sucks. We're talking about running game.
No, hey, Cap,
listen. It's about football, but listen, I'm from Plantation. You know, I grew up right down the street from Plantation Middle. I played for the Plantation Wildcats, right? We hit the heck out of each other. Now, this is all stemming from everything with these new helmets. So we hit each other, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I live up here in Tampa now, or Clearwater, and we got him into football, and they don't hit. And I watched 6 kids on this team at 9 years old had the ambulances had to rush on the field, all from concussions, because they don't teach them how to hit.
Mhm.
And this is all. I just want to see like what y'all think about that. Like how I've never seen anyone my age get hit.
I
You
live
feel
right
me?
in Plantation, right by Omega. I saw
Hold-
Alex Collins. I saw Robbie, the guy that went to Plantation, went to the Jets. I seen these guys from Florida, bro. They can ball. The problem is the Dolphins don't know how to ball, hidden talent.
All right. Oh, we're not talking about that. We're talking. He's asking.
No, they're not teaching fundamentals correctly, is what he's bringing up.
So Teapot. So Teapot. Here's what I'll say to you, man. I think when it comes to youth coaching, so I've done a basketball season now. I'm doing baseball, and I'm probably going to get into football here too. And I think the problem that you find with most youth coaches, and I'm not saying that that is the case for everybody, is you will find that most coaches don't know the fundamentals of how to, this is the proper way to tackle. This is the proper way to hit. This is the proper way to execute a block, right? And so then you get those issues where a kid is now on a football field going full speed and doesn't know the proper way to tackle or the proper way to block or the proper way to carry a hit or accept the football. We all laugh, and I hate to bring this up, but and I don't want to get into a bigger thing, but I think it's a good point. We laugh at this whole ordeal with Tua taking jiu-jitsu. The reality of the situation is we don't know that Tua was ever properly trained on how to take a hit or proper, or anything like this. And this,
man, now you're reaching, bro. Stop it.
Hold on. This stems from a young youth, in youth football, right? And I'm not necessarily saying for that. I'm just saying in general, Teapot, I would say that my advice to you for your son would be if you've seen that happen, I can tell you, at least with my wife, we've had a conversation that my kids will not play tackle football till at least high school, if he wants to play. And I will also say that when they ever do play, I want to know that coach's credentials. And when I see something like that, where the kid's been hurt, if you've had 6 kids hurt on that football team in 1 year,
all concussions.
Something is horribly wrong with coaching, and that's
my thing, because like we used to hit each other, quarterbacks, everyone hit.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah,
let me chime in real quick. The problem with the problem with youth football coaching is that the coaches there, the coaches they get now is not. They don't get coaches with experience. They got the coaches with the most free time, because those coaches, you got to remember, are voluntary. They don't pay those league coaches. So
you're right.
Anybody who has time to coach the kids is going to be coaching the kids. So unfortunately, with little league, you don't have too much experience when it comes to coaching because it's voluntary.
They have a small class that they have to go through.
Yeah,
but that's not going to make you an expert coach. Class for 4 hours ain't going to make you an expert.
I agree completely.
I've done I-9 coaching, and they want people like crazy. All the experienced guys want to go with the people that have money. That's a fact.
They're in Eastlake, and Eastlake's a very rich area. They got a lot of money in Eastlake. When I played them,
hold on one second. I've been asked
the
twice,
money, and we were hitting the shit out of, hitting the hell out of each other.
I've been asked twice to be a head coach now, and I want no parts of it. I am fine being an assistant coach to my youth. I don't want to be the head coach, at least yet, because this is my first year of coaching youth sports, and I don't think that I'm anywhere. And I don't think I'm educated enough on all the stuff for youth sports, and B, I don't want that pressure that if something happens to the kid, that it's on me. And fair or unfair, that's the reality of the situation. What I will tell you,
once you're there, unfortunately, it's on you.
What I will tell you, Teapot, is in your particular predicament, I would have a conversation with the league, man, and I would tell them.
I got some advice for you.
I've tried. I feel like it's too. I feel like it. I feel like
Go
it's so
ahead.
soft now. I mean, more people are getting hurt. Like I said, I played down there. I was small, and I played. They do it by weight. They do it by age here, but they hit dummies. They don't hit each other, and then they get into a game, and they're getting hurt.
That's
And
what
I
I'm
just
saying.
feel like the
Unfortunately,
coaches
it's
not
on
having
you
them hit.
because the
It's
experienced
soft.
guys want to get the experienced players.
T-Pat,
But I mean,
I would
yeah.
tell you, I had a similar situation
Color?
with my little brother.
So, Steven, how you doing?
Pretty good, buddy.
I had a similar situation with my little brother. He's a basketball player, though. And it's funny because I ran into his coach 2 days ago. His coach allowed him to do whatever he wanted because he was that good. He didn't have to practice. They had a play called give the ball to Trey. That was the name of the play. He got to high school. He didn't know he had to be at practice. He didn't know he had to be on time to games and stuff like that. So I took it upon myself to make sure he did all these things so he can be right when the game starts. So it might take you to take a kid at the time, probably start off with your own kid.
And let me interrupt real quick. Let me say this other point to it too, Teapot. The head coach of Dartmouth, I cannot think of his name for the life of me. He instituted, this is several years ago. And I've said this on the show before. He instituted non-contact practices.
That's what Jay Fiedler went, right?
And I'm not sure. That's a good question. Yeah, it is. Okay. So he instituted non-contact practices, and his injuries went down dramatically over the next 4 years. And by non-contact practices, what they would do is they would practice on tackling dummies and everything. Now, here's the difference between a Dartmouth head coach who's instituting non-contact practices in his program. Is he's had many years. He knows the exact way to tackle. He knows the exact way to teach these kids without having that contact to do it. I think youth football is just trying to say, well, we're not doing any contact, so that should, by theory, reduce, concussions or anything. What they're not realizing with this is by having no contact in their practices is that nobody's being taught still the proper way how to tackle or the proper way to hit or what happens when you get hit and how you should do these things. And that's where the injuries are coming in because they are not educated enough. And their theory is the less contact practices we have, the less concussions we have. No, that's not true. You need to still have proper ways of teaching these kids in youth football, which, by the way, another point, it scares the hell out of me what the NFL is going to look like in the next 20 or 30 years. It does. It really does.
If I can eject on the coaches,
It's only going to compound.
Yeah, blame the transfer portal.
I've been a coach for little league all the way up to high school and semi, college and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We've always had a thing with youth coaches where it's always been bad for teaching kids how to do things right, whatever sport it is. I'll use baseball because that's where I coach most of my time, and not doing practicing the right fundamentals or showing them how to do the right fundamentals. I think what United States soccer is doing is probably the best bet for all sports. Now, there's a double-edged sword with it. Now, the way soccer works is you need to have a certification. You can't just go and coach Larry, Joe, Schmo's soccer team. You need to have a certification. And the USSFL, whatever, is the ones who gives out the certifications. I think if they start doing that with every sport, it would change dramatically on how each sport is coached throughout every part of the system. But again, it's a double-edged sword. They have a hard time finding coaches now, so they're just saying, "Hey, you're a parent. Why don't you take over? You know a little bit about this sport or whatever. Why don't you take over?" You're not going to see any of that anymore. It's going to be, and you might not get coaches.
It's about talent evaluation.
Right.
That's it. Coaches want talent. They're not going to want to have projects.
And I believe
Plain
at
and
the
simple.
high school level,
It's too funny
at
that
the high
Captain
school
Lawrence
level,
said that.
they do have to have like medical training and all that.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not like I have 2 coaching badges in soccer right now that I'm trying to work up to get a C license and whatever. It's but like I said, in baseball, I played baseball when I was a kid. I played baseball all the way up through high school, and I was a top athlete, pitcher and shortstop. But my skill set when I watching these kids, I had a bunch of kids that were just not good at baseball because all the good kids are being poached by AAU teams, and so I have to actually teach kids that have been playing their whole life, but they're not very good athletes or very good players, on how to do things that they should have learned from at the age of 5 or 6. And there's 16 and 17-year-old kids, and that's the same way through every sport. Is the same way. So teaching kids how to fall, teaching kids how to hit, teaching kids how to even catch a ball correctly is it's so bad in the youth level that it affects the older kids too.
I'll tell you
right.
this. I'll tell you this, and then I want to kind of change the topic and get back to Dolphins talk. I'm the assistant coach to my daughter's baseball team, and there's 6 through 8, and my daughter's 7. And all the teams practice. There's one big field, and there's 4 different baseball fields on this one field. So at the end of practice every night, all the coaches kind of get together in the same parking lot. And last night we were all talking, and we were talking about, the kids pitching, and that they're only going to pitch 1 or 2 innings, and there's only going to be 4 or 5 innings, and, games are on Tuesday and Thursday nights and all this. But we start talking about, the what is most important here. And the guy who's like the assistant commissioner of the league is one of the coaches for the 6 through 8. And he's like, look, what I tried to do is I know for me, my son is 6, so I have all new kids with me, right? I don't care about winning. I care about getting these kids to learn the game so that as my son grows up with these kids, they're all kind of on the same thing. And I appreciated that. I thought that was great. When he's 8 years old, they're going to be the best team in that league then. But I thought it was great from that standpoint. And he said what I tried to do with the other 3 teams was make it a mixture of young and older, and then with the 4th team it was somebody who had been coaching since his son was 6 years old, and now that he's 8, those kids are all the same. So in that particular scenario, I feel like the 4 teams that are 6 through 8 with my daughter's baseball team, I feel like it's being handled the right way. Everybody's there for one reason, and that's to get these kids to learn the game. And I feel like that's, and obviously we say it's cliche, but we just want them to have a good time. No, we want them to learn the proper way to play the game and do those things. And I think that needs to be everything in this particular conversation and scenario.
You're absolutely right, Stephen D. So can I say one thing about that? And because I actually came up to say something about Derrick Henry. But
let's go ahead and talk about it. You say your
real quick, just really quick though. What my concern is what you were saying about the future of football, because we're handling. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go down the road. People can infer whatever they want from what I'm about to say, so we don't have to go down that road. But it's much like how we handle. We're handling it much how we handle another issue that's very similar in the regard that. And we're throwing out educating people in favor of prohibition. So instead of teaching people how to tackle properly and how to keep yourself safe, and saying, let's say, okay, fine, we have a tough time when a helicopter's got to come down on a field. But if that happens once and everybody's educated, because everybody's educated, instead we're throwing out that education, trying to prohibit basically the tackling. And what happens is, without that fundamental education, you are going to see increases in helicopters on the field because those kids are dropping their heads and they're going to get their necks broken. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
You're right.
You know,
Teapot, I appreciate you bringing that up. I don't, we don't always get into conversations like that, but I think they're good to have. And if you ever want to, have a conversation like that, hit me up DM, and maybe we can make it a topic for a specific show one day, youth sports and how it's kind of viewed. I think that'd be a great show to have one day. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, Color, what were you going to say about Derrick Henry? Let's bring it back to the pro stuff. Tell me what you were saying about
it in chat, but it just seems to me fairly simple. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, you can't just guarantee, nothing's guaranteed, Color. But look, Derrick Henry basically all but guarantees you a touchdown inside the 10-yard line. However, that's got to be manufactured because of his presence, because of his ability, whatever it is. Okay. And that has to translate, you would imagine, to at least 2 wins on the season. So you've got to just ask yourself, is it that we need a running back? Is it that we're paying for this guy or whatever? No, you're paying for the 99% guarantee that you're going to score inside the 10-yard line. That's what you're paying for. So as a fan or as a GM or whoever you think you are, you've got to evaluate it based on that. That's your value. How much is that worth for you?
I got a question. We're talking about if we get a center in the draft instead of a guard. Do you take a chance on Voorhees in like the 7th round or undrafted free agent since he's torn his ACL, for possibly if Williams plays the year and we don't re-up him at guard, if we move him over to guard?
So I think it's a good question, Todd, that you bring up, but here's my problem with it, right? I don't think there's any guarantee with anybody that's probably 5th round or later, or especially in an undrafted free agent, that you can rely on to be to add contribution to the starting, rotation or the starting lineup, or add to depth in the rotation. Those are long shots.
You missed what he's saying, Steven. Voorhees was.
I know who he is, but there's look. Let's again, a spade is a spade, right?
He's saying down the line.
If he was somebody that you thought could injuries, I get. And by the way, our GM is known to draft and sign people with injured past. We know that for a fact. What I will say is, from a standpoint, even if that player is drafted in the 7th round or 6th round, the last thing you want to do is rely on them to have it is a low risk, high reward, but you're hoping, you're not counting.
Right. And I understand it, but that's why I'm saying he could sit a year. And if we don't re-up Williams, I was just asking. I wanted to know from Sarney what he thought of him before the injury.
Sarney, what do you think of Voorhees?
Of who? Connor Williams?
No, of Voorhees, the guy who injured his ACL, the guard from USC.
Oh, I mean, look, I can't speak to how he is post injury or how he's going to be, but Greer does have a history of trying to maybe.
How good was he? Is what I'm asking before the injury.
Say again?
I'm asking how good was he before the injury, in your opinion?
I'm not as familiar with him as you, to be honest with you. I can't speak.
Jason, would you put Williams back at guard, Jason, or would you keep him at center, Jason?
We did a mock last night draft that it's gonna be released this afternoon, but I believe he fell like all the way to the 6th in our mock draft.
Okay, I mean,
maybe
if
7.
you want to take a flyer on a guy like that,
I'm just putting that out there. I don't.
And Color and Todd, that's the low risk, high reward. Cap, what's your question for Jason?
Wait, Color was
No, yeah, Jason, real quick, like with all these talks about trying to get a rookie to replace offensive linemen that were pretty productive last season, do you want to change Williams to guard as opposed to keeping him at center?
No, I don't want to. I think that it could be an option on the table. I think that if there's a great center that you can get, and maybe if that center proves in camp that he could be the guy, and the offensive line is solidified by having that, and then moving Connor to left and taking Liam out of the equation.
You solve 2 birds with 1 stone.
Do we have that luxury? Is what I'm asking.
Of course,
at the moment, no. At the moment,
I would say we do. I would venture.
That's not 2 birds, Steven. But that's not 2 birds with 1 stone. That is that is subtracting what Connor Williams was a better center than a left guard.
But I think Stephen,
It's not
means by that-
addition. It's settling in a sense. I'm
This is a
going
tough
to
one to
move you
debate,
back
bro.
to
It's a
level.
very tough one to debate.
Let's use an example. We had Doug on earlier in the
Okay.
show, and we brought up Juice Struggs. So let's just throw in Juice Struggs as your sixth
Yep,
round
from Penn State, who I love, by the way, who's going to be a day
I'm a
3
fan.
pick.
Let's say hypothetically they take the flyer on him in the 6th round, and he just comes into camp a man on a mission, and he wins that job, and then Connor Williams says, "All right, Jimmy Crack Corn, I don't care. I'll just play my natural position, and I'll have the luxury of not having to worry about snaps." And then he'll focus on that. What I think Steven means is that now you're in a potential situation where you have left to right 4 spots potentially solidified in left tackle with Tehran, left guard with potentially Connor Williams, center with potentially rookie wins the job, and then Robert Hunt. And then pray to God, right tackle, whomever.
Hey,
figures out.
no. Hey, I agree with you. I agree with you. The guy from Syracuse.
What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is, why not approach the draft looking for a guard instead of center, since Connor Williams was actually a top
Rashad,
10
you want
center.
more projects?
It's not a anything that you draft is still a project. If I draft a center, that's a project. If I draft a guard, that's a project. Connor Williams was a project that worked out.
And especially a day 2 or day 3 guy, Rashad, right? Like, especially in those cases.
Exactly. He was a better center than he was a left guard. That's what a lot of people aren't acknowledging, and we're just saying, let's move him back to his regular position.
By the way, I'm not necessarily saying that, Rashad. What I am
not you. I'm just saying everybody who's in a rush to move him back.
My position on center has always been that guy right there's decision. I honestly believe that the dude with the stash is the guy that makes the decision when it comes to center, because he's got to take a snap from. He's the one that has to put his hands up on a guy's nutsack every
the
play.
Comfort zone. Yes,
you know what I mean. I know I'm joking, but let's be real. He's got. I mean, I've never been a fan of disrupting that continuity. Well, we had him out there in training camp last year. After practice, working with Connor Williams to fix issues they were having. I mean, these guys should be tied. Tua and Connor in the center should be tied together at the hip. They should be one unit.
Can I?
And I'm just not a fan of disrupting that continuity. Go ahead, Steven.
Can I debate you on that a little bit? Let me bring this up.
My mind's open to be changed. I'm not,
Okay. We all so cook with me, yes or no answers, and let me get in here. We all agree that Connor Williams played a above average, I would venture to say really good center last year, right?
I'd say yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Progressed throughout the year towards what we saw in Buffalo second game.
He got better as the year go along.
Yeah, agree.
Okay.
Yes.
And we would say that his blocking ability is top notch.
Also,
more or less,
100%.
I agree. Yes, 100%.
I agree. That man doesn't move.
I would say a majority of us would say yes. I won't say all of us, but I'll say a majority of us would agree with that. What we can also say is that when that man snapped from the shotgun position, we all held our breath every time. Every time. So I'm not saying that
was just you, Steven.
No, it was definitely not just me. It was definitely not just me.
It did not bite us in the butt, but when a sport is milliseconds that could make a difference.
That's what I was gonna say. Between the handoff and running back, that snap has to be there for that timing to be perfect.
And let me finish because I'm not done yet. So if that's the case, and knowing this, and knowing that guard is technically his natural position, and knowing that his blocking ability is some of the best in the business, and I love it, right? And I understand his issues that he had at guard. I get
it's top 10, Steven.
I'm not saying that it's not. What I am telling you is that when you get into these late rounds, you go best player available, right? And if you know you need assets on the offensive line, and the best player available is a center, I think you take him because you can move Connor over to guard if that center outplay or shows that he can start as an NFL center. I want it all
jamming to his fingers.
add depth to your offensive line. That's all it does.
Only reason I'm not okay with that, Steven, is because we knew Dieter could play center, and yet he's still backed up.
If I'm correct, everybody here had Dieter as the starting center.
That's what we assume. That's what we assume. But Steven, with Connor Williams at center, Tua sacked only 20 times, and we averaged 4.9 yards a carry. Now, say you swap the center, it could be an upgrade. If it's an upgrade, it is what it is.
I'm not saying it.
You swapped Peter from guard to center, from center to guard. That's the same process, but Williams was better.
And by the way,
here I will say this. I will say Connor Williams was the best center, all-pro center after the snap. What happened before the snap is why he wasn't an all-pro this year.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. You can say that.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
Because the man can block his ass off.
Well, he can, and he's not a natural center. There's that, to Jason's point, there's that millisecond thought, that hesitation, because he's not necessarily 100% confident in himself. Now, I've heard Color make this point a million times on different platforms. As you grow, as you get more into the league or your playing time, that's with anything. That's baseball, basketball, soccer, football. You tend to get more comfortable as you go along. And I'm the one sitting up here saying, guys, why are we not thinking that, hey, Tua's got, the playbook from year 2. He's not having to learn a new playbook. He's not having to learn a new position. He's not having to learn new wide receivers or new running backs. This should all be taken to effect. I, as somebody who's been critical of Connor Williams as far as center, and I think he could play guard, I should have that same thought process too about him. Why isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not going to equivalate all what you're saying into the offensive line being the problem.
Okay, Steven. So the video.
I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get better with what I'm saying.
Well, the video
of Connor Williams, but I'm not going to blame the O-line
in his backyard with his personal little net where he's snapping shotguns into over and over again. That'll be out on Twitter fairly soon.
Well, something doesn't make sense to me. His center is one of the
hitting little bullseyes like behind his ass.
One of the more important.
You're right. Everybody except Noah. I have no faith in Noah. That is true. That is 100% true.
Hey, Steven, you know what doesn't make sense to me? His center is one of the most important positions.
You have no faith in him.
On the O-line, because he makes the play call.
Even Daniel's House of Feet says, I don't like giving credit to any dirty Cardinals fan, but Color's the only one talking any sense up here.
I wonder if that's JM, man. Is that JM?
I feel like it's Noob.
Oh, that's a baseball shot, Color.
Could be Crypto, too. Crypto's a Cubs fan.
Fired. Oh, man. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. We decided to kick up the panel. If you guys missed earlier in the show, the touchdown with Doug Smith was on. We talked draft picks. We talked players. We got into a lot of good Dolphins content. Make sure you guys go back, rewatch it.
I do thank Doug Smith for something.
Huh?
I do thank Doug Smith for something big time on that. Because I did know about the Willis from Oklahoma. I always thought he was just a receiver. For him to say he blocks too real well, that makes me a little bit more confident in him later, because he was a great receiver at Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's crazy. Doug be getting the intel on the college guys as much as Reason does. That's pretty cool.
You guys definitely need to go check him out. Doug knows his stuff when it comes to it. I'm going to add somebody else to the panel. Mr. Negative. What's up, Mr. Negative?
Wow.
What's up,
Hey,
man?
good morning.
That's all you
Hey,
gonna
he's
get.
breaking out, bro. Mr. Negative.
How's it going, guys? How are you this morning?
What's going on, Mr. Negative? I miss you, man. How you been, buddy? I saw you on those Phins tailgate guys' platform, and I was like, Mr. Negative don't love me no more.
No,
Hey, we embrace him, bro.
That's not true. That's again, a lot of times I have to be sleeping when you have your show on.
I know. I'm just giving you a crap, Mr. Negative. You're the man, brother.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll take the heat. I'll take the smoke. No problem.
Let me unless Mr. Negative, you don't have anything necessarily to bring up, I do want to pose a question to the panel. If there is a trade to move down or up, is there a player that you'd be willing to move up for in the draft? And or B, do you think moving down from 51 is something that the Dolphins must do to gain more draft picks to have more opportunities?
Oh, that's a great question.
The must is the problematic part.
That all depends, Steven. If the person we feel like we can plug in and they'll be by mid-season be ready to be a starter or something like that, I'm staying at 51. Now, if there's nobody available, no tight ends, no linebackers, no running backs, I'll trade back. No problem.
Darnell Washington, 12 calls.
I'm not worried about no offensive line because clear as day, they're not going to draft a guy to replace not Dieter, what's his name? Jackson and Eichenberg. They want to see what they got in them. So they're not going to draft somebody better than them that's going to automatically replace them. So they want to see what they got in them. They're not going to offensive line with pick 2. They're looking running back, tight end, linebacker, in my opinion.
Hey, I got to know what Sarni's thinking. I saw that.
If you read in between the lines, I think that what Greer said was that Austin Jackson has every opportunity to win the job in camp, but I do not think that they are not bringing in competition. And based on I love seeing all the websites predict at 51 a nice shiny running back. If you go back to track record, this is not in Greer's MO.
Oh, I don't want to run it back.
If we want to talk about bringing in a running back on a trade, whether it's King Henry or Dalvin Cook, here is how it could happen.
Is this gut or what you know? I think you know something, Jason.
No,
you just don't want to say it.
No. What I would say is if there is a move to bring in a current running back, it will be a deal that is comparable to the Jalen Ramsey deal, which would be equivalent to theft. Now, what would come next would be a pre-negotiated restructuring of contract. If those things happen,
I agree.
I'm all game. If that's Greer's bottom line, if it is X pick, X player, X money, if those things come to fruition, welcome to the king. Bring on. I don't
think these running backs want to.
However, if it's not, Greer will walk away from the table and go to plan D, which is where he's at now, or maybe back into the draft. I will guarantee you he brings in 2 undrafted running backs.
There's the guy from is it Tulane? Is the running back from Tulane?
I keep hearing UCLA. People keep telling me look up UCLA running back.
I'll tell you what.
Charbonnet won't last 5 years.
Look, if I make a prediction or if I make a call and I'm wrong and it's a good thing, I can care less if I'm wrong. I would be shocked if the Dolphins use their first selection, whether it's 51, whether it's a trade up to get a player, whether it's a trade back. I will be shocked if the first name they select happens to be a running back. Shocked.
I agree with you 100%.
But that's Greer's Achilles heel, Jason. He can't get running back. He can't get linemen.
Let me hold on. Let me add. I want to get color and Batman into this too. Because do you agree with Jason or do you disagree? Would you be shocked if their first was a running back color and then Batman after him?
I wouldn't necessarily be shocked because I have seen. I mean, I don't want to give up the farm too much, but we did some work last night on a recorded show with Ali where we were able to have that cake and still eat it too, because we were able to really gain a lot of picks, and what we noticed, at least for myself, thing I became apparent to me was outside of the first round, it's just like it's been the past couple years. You have second rounders in the fifth rounders in the second round, and it's like, hey, there's still richness to be had if you can trade back a pick or two and just amass picks in the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds. You know what I mean? And we were able to do that.
Now let me bring in Batman, because I know Batman has been saying that he has sources that are saying Bijan Robinson is somebody that the Dolphins are really looking at and potentially moving up. Batman, what are your thoughts?
Has no sources.
Give me the sauce, bro.
Leave Batman alone.
What's going on, guys? No, I never said anything about Bijan. It was
He's saying
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm sorry, I said Bijan Robinson. I apologize.
I keep
Jahmyr
hearing Gibbs. I keep
So
hearing
the
it.
Dolphins.
Hold on, let Batman go. Let Batman cook. Go ahead, Batman.
McDaniel has an eye for 4 running backs right now in the draft. There's 4 in particular that he likes. Gibbs being the highest rated one. He's infatuated with Gibbs. And you said it yesterday. I've been saying this for 3 weeks. If the Dolphins are within grabbing distance, they will trade up for Gibbs. That's not even a question. They will do it. I've been told McDaniel wants to move heaven and earth to go get him.
Over Darnell Washington, Batman?
Yes.
So, Batman, Cap, you're kind of a little on it today because that was my next question. The Dolphins, if somebody like Darnell Washington was available, let's say 5 picks up, and also Jahmyr Gibbs is up 5 picks up, I feel like the Dolphins would go tight end over running back there.
Gun to head, Batman. What would you do?
I would hope
Gun
they
to
go tight
head.
end over running back. Because I don't see Jahmyr Gibbs.
I understand that we're infatuated with Washington. I mean, I think Washington is going to go in the first round. I know one of these teams.
I was just saying as a scenario. If they were both available in 5 or 6 picks up.
Gun to head, Batman.
I'm taking Gibbs. I'm taking Gibbs. He would be your day one.
I think I just figured out who Stephen Daniels house is.
The reason I don't take Gibbs is because Darnell's a starter.
That's who you would take. Batman, I'm asking you what you think the Dolphins would.
Better be a starter day one.
The Dolphins are going to take Gibbs. Like I'm telling you right now. Like
wow,
McDaniel's infatuated with Gibbs. He would move heaven on earth. And again, a lot of people forget
heaven on earth.
Last year in the draft, McDaniel.
Batman.
God
now, Batman,
on the line.
You put a lot of credibility.
Let Batman finish. Calm down, guys.
Last year, McDaniel had a running back in mind in the 4th round. When that running back went, he went and they got Eazy-E. Now, that being said, McDaniel has an eye for 4 running backs. I'm not saying that the Dolphins are going to trade, everything they have to go get Gibbs. Again, he has to be within grabbing distance. It ain't going to be more than, like you said yesterday, more than 10
You said heaven on earth. That sounds like a lot.
Right, but they're not going to trade future, like heavy future capital to go get him. I mean,
I'm not so sure they'll have to, Batman.
I would be very happy if we got Gibbs. I think the Dolphins will draft Gibbs. I like the tight end position. I like, Porter. I like Washington. I love these guys. I think these guys would be amazing on this team. But if I'm the Dolphins, I'm getting Gibbs. And if what I think the Dolphins are going to do, they're going to go after Gibbs. Worse, if Gibbs is not available, they're going to go offensive lineman. They will go offensive lineman.
So why would you go after Gibbs as opposed to going after King Henry? Draft capital?
My list.
Trade on the tires.
I'm saying draft capital, is that important to have proven over project?
So hold on. Hold on, Cap. Yeah, I'll let Reister, you go after me, and then Von Joe. Cap, let me just answer your question real quick. You asked 2 questions. You said, is draft capital more important than whatever, right? Draft picks more important, and why wouldn't you go after Henry? So
proven over project.
Hold on. Let me answer your questions. All right. Question A to your answer is Jahmyr Gibbs in that scenario costs significantly cheaper, and you wouldn't have to give up nearly as much as you would have to give to go get Derrick Henry. That's your first answer.
Because it's a project.
No, Jahmyr Gibbs is not necessarily a project. That man's going to start day one.
So what are we arguing about?
Hold on. The second question you asked, Cap, was what was the second? It had to do, remind me here. I lost my train of thought for a second because I keep on having it. Cap.
I got short term. You're better off than me. I'm trying to remember what I said.
Does anybody else know? Help me out.
You were talking about Gibbs.
I don't even know what my last thought was, man.
We're talking about Gibbs and Henry. Henry costs more, and Gibbs.
We got 10 guys over here. All 10 of you know we need a running back. I can see by the body language of all of y'all. Even if you're cammed up, I can see the body language.
All right, I'm gonna let Reister go because I can't even remember what I was saying. Cap, calm down. Stop it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So my thing is this. I want to go back to the whole thing with Derrick Henry, right? And I think a lot of times we forget that Derrick Henry is 29 years old, right? So he's almost on the wrong end of 30. Then another thing you got to take a look at is
I want to debate that guy. That guy I want to debate.
I'm not done, bro. I'm not done, bro.
Let him finish, man.
All right. And another thing you have to take a look at is the fact that Derrick Henry almost had 400 carries last year. And anytime a running back has that many carries, the next year they get hurt. Like,
bro, they had nobody.
I'm not done.
Those 13 touchdowns were almost in December.
Let's be respectful.
I'm just removing you for a second.
Somebody
Let him talk. I'm leaving you in the back. I'm gonna bring you back up when he's done. Calm down. Go ahead.
Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that, bro.
And I love Cap, but just calm down.
Oh, Cap is a good guy, no doubt. And I've been following you guys.
I like Racer. Racer's calm, cool, and collected. I like him.
All right. So another thing that you got to take, like I said before, so the year that he got hurt, right? He had like what 390 carries, right?
It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, something almost 400 carries. Anytime a running back has that many carries, the next year they get hurt. So he had like 380 last year, right? He had 1,500 yards. He had a great season, right? So the likelihood of this guy getting hurt again next year, or the probability is very high because of the number of carries. Now, Dalvin Cook, he doesn't have a lot of carries on him, but he does get hurt and he does get injured. Even though last year he played 17 games, he only had 1,100 yards. So my thing is, do you want to pay? And that's about the most he ever had. Like he doesn't get more than 1,100 yards. That's his history. 1,100 and he's done. 250 carries. So my thing is that are you willing to pay a running back $10, $12, $13 million a year for 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns? If I'm going to pay a running back that kind of money, I want to get about 1,500 and about 10, 15 touchdowns. Not 1,100. 1,100. I'm more south of the 10 million area. I'm not going to pay more than 10 million.
Man, you're playing semantics, man. 1 million here, 1 million there for proving.
You can go, Cap.
Can I rebuttal, please? I've been dying. Please.
Go ahead, Cap. It's Vanjo. Hold on.
I'll be quick. I got 2 minutes. I understand what he's saying. And sir, what is your name again? Because I got like my phone is on life support, man. What is your name again?
Call me the Racer.
The Racer.
Listen, Racer, bro. I know you have great intentions, and I get this. Bro, I get this. But we've been doing this game forever. Lamar Miller, Kenyon Drake. Who else? I mean, let's name these guys that were like scat backs that get you first downs but not touchdowns in December. We played this game for too long. Give me Derrick Henry for 4 weeks for what, 10 million in December and let Tua do his thing?
Is that what
the rest of the season? I don't think that's a lot to ask for.
Go, Vanjo.
I mean, that's
I am not done. I am not done. I did not interrupt anyone. I am not done. I am not done. Please, help me out here.
You said it for the last hour and a half.
Let's not worry about feet, bro. Let me finish my sentence. All right? Okay, listen. Long story short, you guys have tried every formula whatsoever. Can I please finish?
This is a long story.
Thank you. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can because Jason Sarney has taken me to school and I'm trying to learn how to be civil here, but you people like to talk over me. Can I please finish?
Cap, are you and Jason friends again? Come on, Cap. Be nice, Cap.
Batman, I don't even want to hear nothing from you, Batman. I haven't had an invitation for 20. Bro, you have a draft party. Has anyone from here had an invitation from you?
Everybody knows the bans and timeouts are in full effect. I just want everybody
Bro,
to
I
know.
live across the street from that place, and I still don't get an invitation, man.
It didn't work. Go ahead, Cap. I'm sorry.
All right, real quick, man. I mean, look, I understand what Guy is saying. I get that. I don't want to invest in long term on a running back. I get that. But we're in a window year, bro. You guys keep over-analyzing 2 years. This is the year. Go get somebody to do something that the other 4 running backs could not do in December.
You're wrong.
I don't think it's a lot to ask for, bro. I'm not repetitive.
We got you. We got you.
With you.
All right, now.
Go
ahead, Vanjo.
I'm going to mute. I'm sorry. All right.
Go ahead, Vanjo. Floor is yours, Vanjo.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are we doing today? Hi, Vonjo. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for being patient. Sorry for the word.
Vonjo pulled over just to talk to us. I like that.
No, I'm picking up my kids.
It's a hell of a mustache,
We're
BJ.
back to so we're back to this. Thank you, sir. But we're back to this running back thing. We're back to hey, let's go get a running back. Okay, let's go draft a running back high. Okay.
No,
So
don't
we're
do
back
this,
to-
BJ. Don't do it. I know where you're going, BJ. Don't do it. You.
I'm not gonna get mad.
Is there a
Cap,
swear
please
jar
stop.
today?
Cap,
There is a
please
swear
stop being.
jar.
Cap, Steve, please stop.
He's doing it on purpose.
I know you're being a hypocrite right now, Cap. So please stop.
That was the first time I've ever seen Mad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go, BJ. I'm sorry.
Also known as Spawn Joe, but go ahead.
So we're back to not paying attention to our initial issue that we cried about all last year, and that's fortifying our trenches. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go get a shiny running back. Okay, cool. Because we're going to need him in the playoffs. We're going to need him in December. Derrick Henry. What round? Oh, he made it to the Super Bowl, right? He got a ring?
He does not. He does not have a
Okay,
ring.
yeah. Gotta get. Oh, Dalvin Cook. Oh, he got a ring, right?
No, Delvin Cook does not have a ring, sir.
No.
He doesn't.
Hold on, because you guys are sure. Hold on, I'm pretty sure if I look somewhere in here, all these premier running backs, maybe in my glove compartment.
It's under your seat, Vonjo.
No,
It's underneath the seat, man. It's under the seat, Vonjo.
Hey, you don't say that.
But hold on.
Vonjo, look under the seat.
That in your
This
glove
is
box.
Vonjo's fake spike.
Looking in the trunk, Vonjo. Go look in the trunk.
Hold on.
It's underneath the spare tire.
I found some sunglasses because it's so bright outside. Because there was a 7th round pick that got a Super Bowl ring, right?
Yes, Andy Reid, you're right.
A 7th round pick. A 7th round pick.
Hey,
Again,
where'd you get those glasses?
back is no longer needed in a passing league. Stop.
Wait a
Stop
minute,
it,
bro. You're talking about a team that has Pat Mahomes as the quarterback. We don't have.
I got nothing. Bro. I got nothing.
And arguably the best coach in football too.
Okay. Without Pat Mahomes. Okay, the year before
Don't
that.
say we'll chalk it up for the next 20
year
years. Then
before
we're
that,
gonna check in.
Who was the running back Super Bowl?
Oh, hold on. Crypto's here too.
I'll help you. I'll help you, Vonjo. That last actual one was Marshawn Lynch.
No.
I beg to differ a little bit. The last
Hold
star
on.
running back that was in the Super Bowl was Todd Gurley.
Okay.
But we're saying Super Bowl winning because that's what we're here
That's
for.
still long
Are we
enough.
just here to go?
You want to win the Super Bowl?
That game, so
Are we here to go just sit there and fiddle our thumbs in the playoffs? What are we talking about? Please, guys, please stop. Let's focus and fix our trenches. Please. We've been trying to fix these trenches for 10 plus years now, and it's been absolutely abysmal for the past 10 plus years. But every time we sit here and we see a new shiny toy, like a fan base in our front office, let's go get the shiny toy and neglect
I want my
our
toys,
needs.
Vonjo. You stripping me of my toys.
Bro, it's shiny.
The rubber duckies.
Shiny
The rubber
toy to
duckies.
It's shiny, bro.
How about the rubber duckies?
Hold up. Let Jason.
That's the true shiny toy color.
Hold on, Crypto. Let Jason go. Let Jason
Vonjo,
go.
you're gonna like this.
One mic.
Go ahead.
Go, Jason.
My favorite minute and 30 seconds of Vonjo's tenure.
Thank you, Jason Sarney. But again, I'm fed up that we keep going to Toys R Us and KB Toys every time we see something shiny.
What's wrong with those places? What's wrong
Exactly.
with
They
those
all got shut down for a reason.
It was in the mall.
Lewis, get up here, Lewis.
Stop playing with toys and go get your needs. Focus on your priorities.
I'll make
exactly,
rules.
Vonjo. 100%, man.
Everybody have a blessed day. Spread kindness Friday. Hit the like button. And I'll catch y'all guys.
Come on, guys, please.
It's your fault, Batman.
Batman, get on the camera real quick.
Vonjo wants us to
Batman,
buy
get
our
on
toys
camera
in
one
like
second.
sharper image or something.
Get on.
We
get
know
on
what
camera one second.
we know what Vonjo's gonna be at for Christmas.
There's
no coins at Christmas time.
Hold on. Shout out Crypto. In the words of Dave
One mic.
In the words of Dave
Stay black.
Stay black. Stay black. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Mine
ahead.
goes like sharper image, man. I got standards.
Color, I'm just fed up that
K-
because the thing
KB
is,
Toys to do color.
if we get to the
I like KB Toys.
playoffs, let's say we get Derrick Henry and he gets bottled up in the playoffs like he usually does.
I'm gonna
In
rip
the
y'all
playoffs,
ass up.
teams focus on him and they bottle him up, and he's not doing what he did all season. Oh,
Hey,
we need to get
you
the
don't say
O-line
that.
fixed. Oh my
Okay?
God, we didn't
No,
get the
no, no, no,
O-line
no.
fixed.
Hey,
We didn't
hey,
get the O-line
Cap,
fixed.
Cap,
That's
stop
exactly what we're
yelling,
gonna sit here
bro.
and start crying. We're
Okay,
gonna
hey,
start
can I
crying
DC,
just
hey, go get a coffee,
can I
bro. If you
just
don't
get
like my
to that
yelling, all right?
particular
Listen,
point
bro,
Bro,
right
in
there?
bro, like
December,
everybody talking with their regular voice and you
Can I
yelling,
just
bro.
get
DC,
Like,
go
to
get
calm
a
that
down.
particular
decaf,
point
all
right
right?
there, Stephen D?
Young blood.
I don't drink coffee. That's
Yeah.
probably your
That
problem.
All right,
particular
go
point
get an
right
iced
there.
tea. Listen.
I'm
Can't
not
hear
so
you.
sure that our offense would be
Nigga, Cap
running
act like we
through
can't
Derrick
hear him
Henry to
talking
what we're
regular.
talking about here, and this is sort of parlaying a little bit to what I would have said to Racer. Is that those 6 touchdowns you're talking about? You're adding on top of a team
Lewis.
that is producing 23.4 per game. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, and to the same with Von Joe, is it's not as if our offense is going to be running through Derrick Henry, but to have that asset inside the 10-yard line with the West Coast offense we are running, it's not as if he's going to be the only running back in our room. So I'd imagine, like, to me, it's about imagining a running back with his capability on a team where that capability is not necessarily needed.
Color.
I don't know what
If
Lewis
you're
is
at
down
hold
for.
on, color.
Agreement.
If you're at the 10-yard line and you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and you can't scheme them open for a short
Yes, you
pass,
can.
I want
But
everybody fired.
yes, you can.
The
Yes,
red
you
zone
can
has been
scheme
the
them open.
issue.
Yes,
Wake
you can
up.
scheme them open. But when you got Derrick Henry, include Derrick Henry in that backfield, now you're talking about, oh, let's go have lunch.
Lewis, look at the
Yeah,
comment.
that 4.9 carries that we lost during the red zone, every other time that we got to the red zone, we could not do dick. That 4.9 was thrown out the window. Give me proof.
How many times we get to the red zone to begin with?
All right,
Hold
on.
on,
had to put
case
straight
in
up.
point. Case in point.
Hold
When
on.
McDaniel
Hey,
decides
Lou.
for some reason that
Where
I'm
you
going
at,
to take the
Homestead?
ball. Hold on, Cap. When McDaniel decides for some odd reason that he's going to take the ball out of Tua's hands for 2 plays in a row, one of them being 4th and 2, you don't think Derrick Henry guarantees us that first down?
Nope.
No, because he didn't in Tennessee.
Yes.
Nope.
He
Whoever
was
says
stuffed in the
no is
playoffs,
hot.
to Von
Better
Joe's
than me,
point,
bro.
on 4th and 1.
Doug Smith says singing, "Why can't we?"
So you had like
Because
that.
again, why does he have? If Derrick Henry is so great and he doesn't need a passing game, why does he have a ring in Tennessee? Why does he have an AFC a Super Bowl? Why does he even have an
Because
AFC
he had
championship?
an
Somebody answer
inferior
this.
quarterback.
Okay.
They are on one in the chat today, cuz I love it.
Y'all not giving me this. Hey, let's go get Derrick Henry and everything is fixed.
I
Go
was
fix our
off
trenches.
of Tannehill in year 2, bro. That's who you're talking to here.
I know, and exactly. But again, fix my trenches. So everything. We don't need a premier back. Premier backs don't get it done. Where are all these premier backs with Super Bowl rings? It's a passing league.
All right. Let me bring in some sense to this conversation.
We've been saying that
I
for
agree,
15
Von
years.
Joe. I've been
DJ.
trying to
That's
say
the
that a long
obvious
time.
answer.
Let me bring in let me bring in some common sense to this conversation. Lewis, I wasn't
Hey, he
talking
got the
about
bucket hat. Cypress Hill bucket hat.
Hey, shush, Cap. Damn. So you made me cuss. Look, man. I wasn't talking about you having common sense. I was talking about the guy you're riding in the truck with probably does, not you per se.
That's Cap.
That's Cap.
Before
That's
Lewis,
good.
I'm gonna take Lewis off. Like I'm gonna hear Lewis offline because I gotta run, Stephen D.
Hey, Color, I love you, man. Be good, bro.
I love everybody. Appreciate you having
Color,
me.
take care. Fins up.
Color.
All right, Color.
Go ahead, Lewis. The floor is yours.
Bon Joe basically was speaking my language. What are we talking about?
No, what are you doing? No.
Why are we talking about running backs? This is ridiculous. Hey, everybody has told me that this draft is littered with running backs, that it's a running back heavy draft. There are multiple running backs that can get the job done. Why would I trade? I think Racer or Roster, he made a great point.
Racer.
All right, everybody say it one time. Racer.
Racer.
Is that
like race?
As
Is that
in we're
like
going to win this race.
Speed racer.
So it's like speed.
Why would I?
Okay.
Why would I?
Speed racer, but with a T. Got you.
Why would I trade for a 29-year-old running back that is looking? Why would I trade for a 29-year-old running back that has, to his point, the last 2-3 years has been ran into the ground by Tennessee? He has been their only weapon. Why would I trade for that and give him a new deal? Why would I trade for Dalvin Cook and give him a new deal when I can go get me a young, fresh running back in the draft under control at a cheaper price for the next 4 years? Why would I do this? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Hey, Doug Smith.
Doug Smith
said Vrabel is a great defensive coach, but not a good offensive coach. And because he had Henry, it covered up his flaws in coaching on offense in the NFL. Is that a fair assessment about Vrabel, guys? Do you agree with Doug there?
No, I don't buy that.
I'm not gonna argue that.
Buy that. Steven, can I make
Wait, hold on, time out. Was he called?
No, you can't see that.
Hold on, let Mr. Negative go. Go ahead, Mr. Negative.
Well, guys, I think when you look at Derrick Henry, right, you look at the West Coast offense. I mean, I remember watching the 49ers back in the day with Montana.
Roger Craig.
They had Roger Craig, okay, and Roger Craig could catch the ball and he could also run it, right? He was more of a pass catcher than a runner, if you remember. That's what he's known for. Derrick Henry caught the ball more than he ever has last year, but I don't look at him as a pass catcher, and that's what this offense needs.
Thank you, Mr. Negative. The Big O said the same thing, and Big O doesn't want to have a running back, but he said the same exact thing.
Yeah, when you look at the
Big O trash,
right? I can see why they're interested in Dalvin Cook more than Derrick Henry. I think because Dalvin Cook, is more of a pass catcher than he's both, right? He's a dual threat. Derrick Henry's a bruiser. He's that inside the tackle kind of guy.
Go ahead, Jason.
He's not going to run the edge. I don't think as much as he's going to go inside, right? I love either guy, but I don't think Derrick Henry really fits what we're trying to do on offense. I agree with Vonjo in that build up the trenches. I just don't think that Greer is going to allocate anything more to that. Maybe the draft, but I think he wants to see what's going to happen with Eichenberg and what's going to happen with Jackson. He's hell bent on having those guys pan out, right? He's not going to go into free agency and spend more money. He already did that with Armstead. He did it with Connor Williams. So now he's going to focus his remaining assets
on development.
The tight end position. He's going to go to the tight end position, and I think he'll get a running back in the draft. I wish it was Bijan Robinson. I'm a big fan, but I don't think he's going to go up that high to get him. Be too expensive. But yeah, I can see a Gibbs. I can see Charbonnet.
Hey, hold on real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Rashad did it. Rashad did it for all of us. Cap, you're gone for 10 minutes, bro. He said, let me do a favor. Cap, come and join the chat, bro. You need a break. Love you, Cap.
Just to finish up what I was saying.
What are we arguing about this morning now?
I think McDaniel, he's not – Derrick Henry's not more his kind of style. I didn't watch a lot of Gibbs, but maybe you guys could shed some light on this. I mean, Gibbs.
I want Jason to go ahead. Jason, go ahead. You wanted to elaborate on what Mr. Negative was saying.
I feel like if there is a running back to bring in, the more economic move would be Dalvin Cook because its scheme fits. And look, he is not going back to Minnesota. So much like the Rams scenario, Minnesota has to just say, all right, let's just get what we can get and just rid ourselves of the scenario. So if the Dolphins could really literally steal Dalvin Cook, and this is a fun team to move Noah Igbenogany to. You send Noah Igbenogany and another future pick for Dalvin Cook, and you know what? Statue Chris Greer. That I'll take, but they're not drafting a running back 51st. I'm sorry, folks.
No, Igbenogany has no value.
He has no
Thank you.
value.
That part.
Hey, Mr. Negative, to be fair, neither did Hunter Long.
And neither does
and they still drafted him.
10 more seconds, and then I'm going back on mute.
Okay,
Listen,
go ahead,
everybody.
Jason.
There's no value in Minnesota for Dalvin Cook. Sorry, Noah, there's no value many places for you. So might as well just grass is greener on the other side.
I would think
that's a good deal.
I would think
real quick
going to happen. It would have already happened. If all it took was a draft pick.
It can't happen yet because it's going to be draft day leverage. It's going to be
real quick, guys.
Back
We forget
against the low
that-
draft day leverage the Dolphins are using against the Vikings.
Vonjo, then Alexander. Vonjo, then Alexander.
We forgot that
Vikings don't have no
one,
interest in our trash.
Jerome
I-
Baker in a draft pick.
Guys, respect the panel, please. Jeez. Children. Okay, so it's like, for example, Eichenberg is shaky. We keep forgetting that Austin Jackson, we didn't pick up on his fifth-year option. So if he does pan out, we either going to pay him or ship him out. So we are going to need to fortify our O-line because we are going to need, when Jackson ships out, we need somebody to put in his place. And I am not playing this rookie game
It takes about 3
in his
years
place.
to develop a lineman.
Okay, that's why we need to draft one this draft and fortify the O-line.
We're trying to win.
I'm not drafting an offensive lineman at
Alex,
51.
before I let Alex go, I just want to rebuttal to Vonjo. I'm sorry, Alex. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Vonjo, what gives you? And I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here because we all know I am a big Greer fan. Okay, but what makes you think that the Dolphins are even going to hit with the right pick on the O-line?
Oh, not one bit. I have
Exactly.
zero. Listen, Chris
Exactly.
Greer, when it comes
No,
to drafting
they're not.
O-lines, Chris Greer is a judge.
That's why you
But
pick a
still,
linebacker
it's something
running
that
back.
still needs to be done.
You
Even a
take a
broken clock is
lineman.
right twice a day.
You take an
That's what I'm
offensive
hoping
lineman
for.
And by
with
the
the
way,
last
that's
pick
what
in
I
the draft. I'm
appreciated
okay with
this
that.
morning from Doug Smith when he said,
Rashad, let me finish.
The
Again,
law of averages
even a broken
state
clock.
they got to
Exactly,
hit
a broken
eventually.
clock. Exactly. So Chris Greer, when it comes to drafting O-linemen, a complete judge. Okay.
Yeah,
So I have no faith.
He hit already.
But
He
again,
hit with
I
Hunt.
have to hope that again that clock strikes 12 eventually. Eventually, it has
He
to,
struck
right?
with he
Hey, hold on.
strike
Before
12 with
I
Robert
let
Hunt.
Alex go, this is from Karen from the Miami Sports Music HR department. Steven, speaking of panelists, we're also concerned about Alex's shirt. If we could shut down his camera, please. The company doesn't feel peddling bad cell phone providers to fans is wise.
They are not a sponsor. T-Mobile is definitely not a sponsor.
What's up, man?
Well, there goes a sponsorship opportunity in the future.
I know. There goes T-Mobile, man.
exactly.
Thank you, Karen.
Exactly.
T-Mobile is gone.
Yeah, I think they're gonna trade down and trade out of the second round to get more picks. I think that's exactly where Greer's gonna go with this. But Dalvin Cook's not coming to Miami. He won't. They're not gonna trade for a running back. And I don't even think they're gonna even draft a running back in the high rounds. I mean, I would like to, but I don't think it's gonna happen because Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, those two backs have guaranteed money. So, and Greer gave them guaranteed money when he re-signed them. So that's why I don't think that they're not going to trade for Henry or a big-time running back. And they may draft one.
Yeah, but that money is peanuts.
But there's no room. There's no room at all to get in the running back room. You got four backs that you signed: Gaskin, Achman, Mostert, and Wilson.
They'll draft one.
If
They
draft one,
can't let all these running backs slide.
Dade, real quick. I just got a separate thing. This is off topic for Dade. Dade, you there? I need you to get on camera real quick, Dade. Real quick.
Dade,
Yeah, well, I'm working with y'all.
24 hours.
Show us that forehead.
So
Yeah, we got to get a shot at the forehead.
Bro, don't worry, Louis. Hey, Louis, I'm coming with a bucket of water, and I'm going to expose all your gray hairs. I'm telling you that now.
Dade,
What's up, bro?
Dang, look at that forehead. Anyways, my wife just texted me. Has a huge forehead. My wife just texted me and said that I'm no longer allowed to tell people to stay black. I'm not allowed to do it no more. My wife just texted me. I can't say
that's
it
what you get.
So from here on out, when I want to say it, I'm gonna go, "Hey, Dave," and you go. I'm pointing to you,
I don't
Dave.
mess with you, Steve. I don't mess with you, Steve.
See,
You be calling me. You over
Louis.
here with the 6'9" crap?
Louis,
No.
you say your thing. That's cap. That's cap.
Dang, he just pulling your strings, dog. Like,
What's up, Sarney?
Anyways.
Hey, Steven. Hey, Karen just put up another comment, bro.
It says Steven, management is hard at working securing sponsors for the show. T-Mobile isn't it. And we've also denied your request for Buffalo Bills to become a primary sponsor.
Wow, Steven, Buffalo.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, we all know the truth. Steven, a Buffalo fan.
Yeah, we all thought
That is a fact.
Manalo says
That
I
is a
missed the
fact.
Steven drinking shows. I
See,
will.
Steven, I got him to say it without even having to point at him.
I will make y'all a deal. If y'all donate $100 right now, I will do a drinking show before the end of this month is up. But you got to donate $100 right now.
You're on your own with that one.
And I'll do a drinking show again by the end of
Yeah, Bonjo passed out last time.
Bonjo was not good for Bonjo. It was so bad.
Not good for me at all.
Bonjo was
So
slumped last time, bro.
Make
I was
it
in
make
Detroit
it April
throwing up.
28th, and I am in.
By the
I will
way,
be in Hawaii.
Cap for Life wants to tell you, I don't want to cuss, but he used an expletive and said "you" after it. You foot lover to you, Rashad. He was talking about you. He's mad at you.
Sorry.
Well,
I'm mad at
I
feet.
warned you, Cap. I told you,
I'm
bro.
mad
You
at
was yelling, bro. All you had to
we
do
can
was
all
stop
have our
yelling.
own way.
He's like,
All
in
you had
the
to do is
screen.
stop
You
yelling.
don't see him in the back room right now, but he's like literally flipping all of us off and has this mean face. Yeah. Manalo says,
He's
Steven,
supposed to
you
be in the back room relaxing. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He's
That's
supposed
what-
to be in the back room
That's
relaxing.
what happens.
That was the
not
point
get
of
more
getting
points, bro.
for you to relax. Take a
Manalo,
breather.
you need to make arrangement to pick up your kids. Yeah, man. Samaj says he's got $10 on it. He's got $10 on it. We got 90 left. Let's go. You put $100 up for the show. I'll make a drinking show by the end of this month. My wife won't be happy about it, but she already said I can't say Dade County.
Stay black.
What's up, little man?
Anymore.
What's up, little guys?
What up, man?
Hey,
Look at my
but
nose.
Steven, why you don't just tell her that's what you identify as?
I don't know if my wife will allow me to. She, I have that.
Wait, your wife won't allow you to identify?
Hey, look, okay? You're not getting me in trouble, okay?
You know what? Let me stay out
That's
of this.
not going to happen.
Yeah, let me go ahead and change the topic. I gotta sign these kids out.
I think my wife is preventing me from getting canceled. I'm pretty sure that's what she's doing.
Bro,
Lewis,
not let these guys get you in trouble with your wife.
huh?
I said, bro, don't let these guys get you in trouble with your wife.
I know, man. I know.
Steven should already be in trouble. He's not wearing his Josh Allen jersey right now.
All these people just want to see the world burn. That's what it is. They just want to see the world burn.
Chaos, Steven, have you not looked at the world today? It should burn.
It should burn. What's up, Lewis?
I said we want chaos, Steven.
Yeah. You want chaos? All right, hold on. I got it for you. You ready? Say it again.
Chaos.
We want chaos.
Chaos.
Well, this show escalated.
I'm glad it's only that, not something else.
Want mayhem.
We went from running backs
So we
to
get back onto the subject of whatever we was on subject about.
Andravia says telling someone they can't identify as in 2023. Oh no, cancel Mrs. Daniels.
That's a good one.
I think I gotta get out of here before I'm
Yeah. All right, let's do final thoughts of the day, man. Let's do final thoughts of the day. Cap, you get the first final thought of the day because you're back. It's you're back now, Cap. Final thought.
Hey, yeah, man. Hey, TGIF to everyone, man. And yeah, but let's see what happens the next 2 weeks. But yeah, man, everybody get on point with we're trying to do a draft party. Batman's been working hard on it, man. Please do what you can to support him, man. It's gonna be over in North Miami, my neck of the woods. If you guys have any time, just come by, man. We'll have a drink. I'll pay the first round. You guys come by and yeah, man, let's just, we got a long 3 months of just indulging in our own misery. So let's make it work.
Hey, we have a new member.
Rashad, I'll give you some pig feet, bro. I got you.
Kurt is back, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt left us. Now he's back. Shout out to Kurt. All right, Cap. Hey, where's my man at? Where's Dade County? Dade County. I'm pointing to you, Dade. You're not working with me, Dade.
What's up, Steven?
Say it.
Stay black, y'all.
You're so late, man. You ruined the good moment. All right,
I am
Robert.
working, bro. I gotta make money. I'm sorry.
Well, you on my show, man. What's more important, your job or my show? Huh? What's more important, Dave?
Do you truly want me to answer that?
Straight.
You truly want me to answer?
Better be my show. All right, Robert,
You
go
ain't even
ahead.
coming out
Final thought of the day.
faces on
I'm
time.
disappointed in you.
Why? What did I do?
It's what you did do. We told you it's okay to take that Josh Allen jersey out of your closet and wear it.
I don't have any Buffalo Bills paraphernalia.
You're the only one you're convincing in your why, Steven. The only one.
Why? No, Robert, look, whatever fake Stephen D account told you, they told you wrong. Okay. So just for the record,
Don't lie to me. Just own up to it, man.
My account is at Stephen D SKPL, not at Stephen D _ SKPL. Okay. So, and if y'all want the culprit of the fake account, he's in the chat right now. Okay.
Are you snitching? Are you snitching, Steven?
It could be anybody in the chat.
Oh, now it's different. Oh, now it's different. Yeah, you see, y'all full of.
Look here, Dade County 6'9". Okay, let's not get twisted.
But you up here snitching. Cool. All right.
All right. Who's next? Crypto. Final thought of the day.
What's going on, Steven?
It's a final thought, not a final monologue. Okay, so let's go.
Don't
final monologue.
Let's go. Time is money, Crypto.
Keep your finger on the mute button.
Shut up, Dade. You just complained about having to go to work.
All y'all want smoke with Dade today.
We are here for the smoke. Most definitely, we are here for the smoke.
Hey,
Crypto, final thought. God, stop delaying everything.
I'm not delaying. Everybody keeps talking. All right, Steven. It's been a good one, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Listening to the updates on Rashad fetish for feet and everything. So
no, man.
I'm enjoying every moment of it. But either way, Steven, you still owe me. You're up to 600 now. That's my final thought.
But dude, you don't get any interest on owed hot dogs. You get one owed hot dog back, and I'm never paying you back for that hot dog. Okay, never.
You in debt for life, Steven.
You invested that hot dog, and we ended up having the greatest comeback in NFL history for the Miami Dolphins that game for Baltimore. So just look at it as you invested in the win. Okay, that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do.
Okay, I'll take one off the top. Now you owe me 699.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous,
bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little worried about how you always worried about these hot dogs, bro. I ain't gonna lie. What's up with you, bro?
You ain't gotta worry.
And he be talking to us in the tub sometimes. It worries me greatly. Okay, greatly.
Kind of sus.
You get your mind out the gutter.
Crypto, get off my
saying, bro. I'm just saying, bro.
You ain't saying nothing, damn it.
I love you, Crypto. You're the man, brother.
Later, man.
Bye. All right, Alexander, you got to go because you actually got to work, right? I think you're peddling these Tua phones. They keep dropping service and keep. Never mind. I'm not going to do that to people.
Dude, stop.
Go ahead.
Stop.
Sorry,
T-Mobile is better than Verizon.
Hey, by the way, the Knicks suck. They absolutely suck.
Okay, that's why we're going to beat Cleveland Saturday night.
No, you're not. You're going to lose to a
Not beating
LeBron.
Cleveland.
I need you to understand what's about to happen to you guys. You are going to lose to a LeBron-less Cleveland Cavaliers team. That's how bad you guys suck, okay? LeBron doesn't even need to be there for the Cavaliers to beat you all. That's how bad you guys are. Go ahead. Sorry.
Seed.
Okay.
And 40 wins, and we put up 140 on them 3 weeks ago.
Nobody worried about you.
And
LeBron about to
Russell
get
went
this
for
chip
47
anyway.
that
LeBron,
night.
baby. LeBron.
Anyways, we're gonna prove all y'all haters wrong. Okay, on Saturday night and come this series. But anyways, about the Dolphins.
You guys are losing in 5. Just want you to know.
Okay.
5.
Sure. Okay. So, anyways, before I was really interrupted by a fan that's in the play-in tournament.
Mets and Islanders are straight booty cheese, according to Teapot 954. It's a very accurate statement, Teapot 954.
See, it ain't just me, Alex. It ain't just me.
Go ahead.
Anyways, the Islanders are in the playoffs, so that's one. Okay, that's why you guys lost. So they have to play.
Kurt says Julius Randle wants out.
Julius Randle does not want out. Get out of here with that.
Who wants to play at Madison Square Bumgarden?
Mecca? Who once played the Mecca? A lot of
it was the Mecca back in the 90s. Not no more.
Mecca of basketball. Okay, and always will be. Anyways, I'm really anxious to see what this Dolphins team does. You know, I'm excited about the season as always, and we'll. There's really not much you could say, you know, because they're not going to do anything for the next couple of weeks to the draft. I think they're actually going to trade out of the second round and get more picks. I don't see them picking in the second round at all. But we'll see. But we'll see what happens later on down the show.
To be honest, your theory is interesting one, and it's one that I'm actually considering more and more as we get closer to each draft. Because if they can get to what Jason Sarney and Doug Smith said this morning, 2/3 and 2/4, I mean, I think you consider it. So you know, definitely. All right, brother, I got to let you go, man. Let me get these people off.
Good night, guys. Take care.
Love you, brother. No, I got you off before you could finish that statement. Thank you. Reister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My daughter got accepted to USF, University of South Florida. So I'm very happy about that.
She got accepted?
Huh? Oh, yeah, she got a scholarship. Yeah, she got a 5.2 GPA, right? 4.0 cumulative unweighted.
Man, look at you.
This is my baby right here. She made National Honor Society honor roll. Yeah, all that good stuff. Is that right, parents? So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. I want to thank you guys for bringing me on today. I love watching you guys work. You're awesome. I do want to say this, and I'm finished with it. I'm not on the Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook bandwagon, even though I actually wanted both running backs from the draft at the point, and we never got them. We had opportunities, but we didn't draft them. But I don't want them at this point. I want my man, and you mentioned him already, Zach Charbonnet. Hey, y'all have a great weekend, brothers. Love you, man. Fins up.
Hey, real quick, man. I don't know if you're this is just a good plug because you're not a member already, and you don't have to be. But if you want to be, or anybody who wants to be one, you can sign up to become a member in the channel and become part of the family. All right, man. You're the man, brother. I love you. Thank you for coming on. I hope to see you more often up here, man.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. Have a good one, brother.
Yep.
Great stuff. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. Let's go to Mr. Negative. Final thought of the day, Mr. Negative.
Yeah, guys. I don't know. I just have a feeling that something big's on the horizon. You know, whether it's trading out of the round 2 or whether it's trading up or trading a player. I don't know. I just have a feeling that Greer, you know, has got something on the back burner. He loves to trade. He's done the most trades of any GM in the last like 3 or 4 years. That's what he likes to do. It's where he's kind of had his success, in my opinion. The draft has been okay, but not you know, like a home run or anything like that. But yeah, no, I just see something big on the horizon. And guys aren't going to like this, but I have a feeling that they're not going to be able to come to terms with Christian Wilkins. I just think the money's going to be too far apart, especially with the recent signings of Simmons and Payne from Washington. I think they'd love to re-sign him, but again, you can only allocate so much money to a position, and we've already got a lot of money tied up on the defensive line. And I think that's where you could kind of see, you know, him trying to recoup draft capital is Christian Wilkins. It's just one way of getting it done. Not saying it's going to happen. I just have a feeling that something big is on the horizon, and that's one possibility. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. Can't wait for the draft. Love the draft every year. I've been to drafts in the past in New York City. I was there for Ryan Tannehill getting drafted. So
I was too.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. I'm sorry to hear that.
Dude, real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time.
Real unfortunate.
That's
so
terrible.
I won Buffalo Wings best seat in the house thing.
Oh, nice.
And I got to go to the Ryan Tannehill draft. They sent a limo, drove up to New York. They put us up in a hotel. We spent the first round with who was the running back from the Jacksonville Jaguars back in the day? Fred Taylor. And Terrell Davis, Denver Broncos running back. And we got to hang out at the Bud Light party with them, watching the first round, watching the second round. It was dope, man. It was awesome.
Of course, a Buffalo fan won a Buffalo Wings sweepstakes.
Right.
Sir. See, look at you trying to make them look. You better calm down, Mr. Negative.
You're a Buffalo fan, bro. Stop fighting And Steven, you're a Buffalo
Have a
fan.
great day, guys.
Be
Have a
good,
great
man.
day.
Be good. Karen from HR says, Rayster, please forward me your resume. We are considering a new host. Just don't tell Stephen D. We have not informed him yet. And then he said, Mr. Negative, please don't forward me your resume. Too much. You guys are great in the chat. It's definitely awesome. I'm going to go with Dade County. Final thought of the day.
Everybody stop panicking. We'll be fine. We're going to have a good year. Stay black. Holla at y'all.
Hey, I can't say it no more. I'm not allowed to say it.
Don't worry, Jason, you can stay black, bro. Stay black, Jason.
Can I do
oh,
this?
My day is made. My day is made. Thank you. You
All
gotta
right,
ask your
Dan, I
wife
love
for
you, brother. Be good, man.
Yeah.
All right. And then there were 3. You need to get on camera for your final thought, and you need to address these allegations that you are scared of feet. Okay?
I'm
You need to
working.
go on record.
Well, I will go on record and say Zach Cabernet sucks. He will only last 4 to 5 years because he's going to hit his head on the wrong helmet, and his CTE will start immediately. The guy has no sense of direction.
That's so dark and mean for Spread Kindness Friday.
He has no sense of direction. He just runs as hard as he can.
You know what I hope for you? I hope that you get to be around feet all weekend. I hope that feet just are all over you. I hope you have dream about feet, okay? And that their toes go up your nostril and into your mouth and on your face. And I'm just trying to figure out how graphic I can get without disgusting you out a little bit.
Trust me, nothing you can do can be worse than what my big brother did.
Done to you, right?
Right, exactly.
I could try. I'm wearing sandals right now, and I could try to be flexible and show you my feet, but nobody wants to see that.
Rashad, I know what I'm getting
Don't
you for
even hurt
Christmas.
yourself.
I'm going to give you some clock blockers flip flops.
I'll wear them, but I won't look. I'll have socks on while I wear them, so it's fine.
You can't go flip flops.
Socks on flip flops, bro.
Get him out.
You're go in the bag. Go think about what you've
Go to
done.
the bathroom, Steven.
Some people.
Socks with flip flops.
That's just illegal. That's
In
that's
48
illegal.
states.
Time out. You live in Florida, don't you?
No.
Where do you live?
California.
Even worse.
It's the same thing.
That's
You don't
even worse.
get off my channel.
Get out of here.
Socks with flip flops. Or something else. Something else.
God.
Jason, let's just get that guy out of here.
Whew.
Oh
wow.
Spread Kindness Friday today, huh? Good show.
Great show, man. I'm schwitzing.
I'm that sounds like a Jewish word, but
Sweating, heavily sweating from nervousness.
Okay. It sounded very Jewish. Okay. Stephen, while we can't prevent you from your own endeavors off of company time, if you would refrain from advertising your foot fetish website with references to feet management, would appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, Karen from Miami Sports Music HR department is one of the best.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Working hard today.
it's great. It's
Working
absolutely
hard today.
5 for 5.
Oh man.
Hit for the cycle. 2 dingers.
Whew.
Final thought of the day, Jason.
Final thought of the day. Oh my God, I got a lot of them. But the final thought of the day is Spread Kindness Friday. We're going to do something fun for the draft. I don't know the severity. He will be working Greer. I think a trade will happen. And I do think it will involve in one way, shape, or form, whether it's an export or out or import, a player trade during draft day, I think is in the cards. Some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a trade will happen on draft day. I'm as I just said a little bit ago, everything. Do I need to become a member of Miami Sports Music? Everybody's allowed to become a member. Okay, we accept all people to the bandwagon, even Buffalo Jills fans. Okay, you can come on, Amicus. You can become a member. Okay, Amicus, we're going to make you a Dolphins fan. That is my goal in life, to make you a Dolphins fan, Amicus. I think you are a closet Dolphins fan to begin with, but we're going to make you a full-blown Dolphins fan. That's my goal in life now, Amicus. You're going to become a Dolphins fan. That's what's going to happen. This is going into your file, Stephen. He's killing it, bro. Just killing it. I did put the link to become a member on the channel, just so everybody wants to know. Have a great and safe and dry weekend, everybody. Inspire growth anywhere you go. Shout out to Cap for life and his hypocritical self. You interrupted everybody, Cap.
Cap needs a lozenge.
No. I'm going to interrupt you like Cap interrupted everybody. One more time.
Me? Oh, Cap needs a lozenge.
No, what I'm telling you you're going to do. Got to yell in the mic while I do it. I love you, Cap. You're the man, brother. Miami, when you get a chance, reach out to Miami Flo to set up a show since he's a Dolphins fan. Alex Dunno knows him, bro. Miami Flo, tell him to hit me up. He might have already done it. And tell him if he did, say, hey, look, I apologize. Have him hit me up. I promise. Ask Shake Money, who, by the way, if you go on Larry K's channel, I just did In the Blender. I recorded it a couple of weeks ago. He released it last night at 7 p.m. In the Blender with Shake Money. I was a guest. It's a 2-part episode. It was a lot of fun. We went over me growing up as a Dolphins fan and how I became a Dolphins fan and all that fun stuff. Make sure you guys go check out Shake Money's In the Blender show on Larry K's channel. Just look up In the Blender, Shake Money, Stephen D. You'll find me on YouTube. It's great. You don't want to miss it. It's a big deal. Cat for Life says, Jason, love you. Phins up. My final thought of the day has to do with, spread kindness, positivity, and love. I had I'll tell you a little bit. I'll be a little personal with you guys. So my son is 9 years old. And my son is very, wise, I think, for his age. And he comes to me last night and he says, Dad, I haven't talked to you all day. This is at like 10 o'clock at night. He should already be in bed. But I was doing stuff. I had a conversation with Jason. We were up on the phone for an hour plus last night talking about the future of Miami sports music. So after I go out, he comes in the room and he goes, Dad, we haven't talked in a while. We haven't talked all day. I said, okay. And I dropped what I was doing. I turned around and I had like a 40-minute conversation at 10 o'clock at night with my son, my 9-year-old son. And he's telling me, about his day, what's been going on in school. And, he's telling me about, his thoughts and his feelings and being in touch with, when people are sad, you should do this and you should do that. And I just thought for a 9-year-old, he was so smart and wise for his age. It was just so powerful to see a 9-year-old kind of have that thought and just kind of converse with me with that. And so what I want to do today is just kind of go to y'all and just say, look, I always give you, hey, reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Today, I want to tell you, talk to somebody in your house. In your own house, under your own roof, have a real conversation with them, your child, your mom or dad, cousin, family, whoever lives under your roof. If you live by yourself, somebody that you're really close to, okay, that you converse with all the time. Have a real conversation with them. Because after the 40-minute conversation with my son, I kind of sat there and like, man, I'm not spending. He's like, Dad, I would like to have more of these conversations with you. I know you're busy, but I'd like to have more of these conversations with you. And I felt a little bad because I was like, man, I'm not having as many of these conversations as I should with my son. And I realized that I need to prioritize things better with the people that are right here under my house. That includes my beautiful wife, my daughter, my son. And so my spread kindness homework for you all this weekend is people that are under your roof, make it a priority to have a conversation with them. And make it a good one. Not and drop what you're doing. Put your phone down. Turn off the TV. focus. And I mean, that's what I did. I turned off my computer. I sat my phone down and I turned and I talked to him, and I just eye to eye had a real talk with my 9-year-old son, and it was great, man. It was great. Cat for Life says, amen. Talk to someone. You never know what tomorrow brings. You could be saving or helping someone who's lost. Amen. Yep. I agree, man. I 100% agree. And that's my final thought of the day. That's my spread kindness homework of the day, Jason, because on Friday, it's Spread Kindness Friday. And just as final flip side says, they'll be grown before you know it. Prioritize family first. I hear you, flip side. Hit the like button. If you can subscribe, it's free. Subscribing is free and hitting the like button is free. I talk a lot about donating, and don't get me wrong, that helps. And trust me, we need it, especially to keep this going on a daily basis. It's a big deal when you guys donate. But if you're not able to, I get it. The world's a crazy place. Money's can be tight, whatever it is. But if you like the content that you see here, you can help me, even if you can't donate. And you can help me by hitting the like button every day, by subscribing to the channel, by sharing the content after the show and say, hey, man, these are great. You know, this was a great show. You guys should listen to this. You guys should go check it out. These are all things that you should do and you can do to help the channel grow. So if you enjoy the content and are not able to give monetarily, help in other ways. I ask you, help by sharing, help by, texting 10 people that might be Dolphins fans and say, have you heard about this guy, Stephen D and Clock Blockers? It's a great show. You should check it out. Okay. So that it all helps and it goes such a long way. And I ask if you are enjoying the content that you do that. That is another ask that I have of you guys because I need it in order to go. I can't be like Doug and TD. I'm never going to get there without your guys' help. I want to get past those guys. No, it's not a competition. I want to grow and I can't do it without your help. And, you guys are the best fans in the world, Dolphins fans. Can't do it without y'all. All right, man. Everything starts at home with the parents. Kids are first teachers. Yep. Stephen D's final thoughts are his own and do not constitute legal advice on behalf of Miami Sports Music. Stephen, let's hear a Dolphins or a Heat freestyle. I did the freestyle the other day. You guys don't want to hear me rap. There's not, okay. All right. I know one about food. You want to hear? I'll give you, you know what? K's 1989. I'm hoping if somebody wants to donate to the channel right now, whatever they want to donate, I will. If somebody donates right now to the channel, whatever it is, I will do the first ever rap I came up with. Real quick, I will do the first ever rap that I came up with when I was like a younging, a young lad, child, and it was about food. As a fellow big man, I do love me some food. And I will give you the first rap I ever made, and it was about food. Somebody donates to the channel right now. Make it a good donation. Come on, make it worth my while to embarrass myself. It's a good one. You guys might like it. It's about food. Just saying. What do you got going on this weekend, man? You doing anything this weekend?
Just a normal soccer game and just hanging out with the fam. I think I might see the Mario Brothers movie with my kids and wife. That's something that we want to do.
What movie?
The Super Mario Brothers movie. I think it's
A
that, right?
Super Mario Brothers movie that's breaking all the records, man.
Yeah, that
It's
might
crazy.
be our big item event of the weekend.
My daughter's opening day's on tomorrow, but we're hoping it doesn't get rained out. But I'm pretty excited about opening day tomorrow for my daughter. That'll be fun. I think we got a nice little squad. We're gonna win a couple games this year.
Get some
Got
dubs.
we're gonna get some dubs. Yes, I did go West Side. West Side. I'm not throwing up a gang sign. Real quick, funny story about my wife since she wants to throw me under the bus that I can't say certain things anymore. We're on a boat in Baltimore, and people are taking pictures, and they're throwing up gang signs. Okay, and my wife's like, Let me do that in the photo. I'm like, honey, you can't do that. Those are gang signs. You can't be just can't do that. Okay? So to this day, I'm always like, honey, don't be throwing up any hand gestures in a photo, okay?
You got a rap to spit right now, my friend.
I got a rap?
You got a rap.
All right, I got to stop the music real quick. All right. Shout out to Cap for Life and his $5 donation. It wasn't as much as I was hoping to see, but I did say any donation. All right, here we go. You ready? I like chicken wings, macaroni and cheese. I like potato salad with some collard greens. I like French, ranch, Italian. I like all those kinds of dressings. First rap I ever made. Bars. Bars. What? That's $1 million.
If you could get
right
rhyming
there.
with balsamic, that's my dressing. So if you could work in another rap and verse with balsamic, I'd be very impressed.
Let me tell you, man, I made that rap when I was like 7 years old. True story. And yeah, never, ever. Yeah, I hope I don't ever have to do that again.
It was good. You rocked it out.
I did something. I don't know if rocking out was the right word. Kane said it's fire. Fire, Steven. Bravo. Amicus is looking at me with the crazy eyes. Hold up now. Cap for Life said, let's go. I can't.
Keep that.
Oh, man. Drop it like it's a pudding pop. You put the pudding pop. I can't do that joke no more. Can't do that joke no more. Anyways. All right. I hope you all enjoyed the show today. Enjoy time with your family. Go back and listen to all the shows from this week. It was a lot of fun. I want to give a big shout out to Nando Talk for Tuesday, Hot Take Tuesday. Allie, a.k.a. Doll Freaky, hanging out with me on Wednesday and Wilding Out Wednesday. Thursday, I had Cameron Scott. We're going to talk more baseball talk on Thursdays now for all you baseball fans, too. And then on Friday is Spread Kindness Friday with my man Jason, who was also with me on Monday. So I appreciate that. You're the Friday guy. It's a good squad, a good team that we have here. Want to give a big shout out to Nando Talk, Phins Take with CB83, the Hell Phins down in Mexico, and the beautiful and wonderful people that always help and contribute to Miami sports music. You guys are great, and you're beautiful people, and I hope that you get many blessings in life. So we will see you all tomorrow right here on the #1 Miami Fan Morning Show. Clock Blockers. Peace. Be good, y'all.